County Stadium in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Detroit Lions, looking for just their second victory of the season, take on the Green Bay Packers in an NFC Central matchup. Suddenly a logjam in the middle of that NFC Central. The Green Bay Packers at 3-4, a chance to get to 500 and perhaps catch the slipping Chicago Bears. Minnesota on top. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan here at County Stadium, and the fans here looking for better things from their Packers. They've got the number 2 ranked offense in the entire NFL and an opportunity today to get to the 500 mark. And then after that, who knows? We're just halfway through the season at the end of today. Now, the Lions have to be the most optimistic 1-6 team in the entire league. And Rodney Peete and Barry Sanders, their young stars, are coming in loaded for Packers today. Well, with me as usual, Randy Cross, our former San Francisco Pro Bowler. And Randy, certainly these Lions have shown a lot of offense that hasn't been reflected in wins so far. But still, Wayne Font's talking about some changes.
That's right. He says these turnovers and these penalties are killing me. The last couple of weeks, he's had Tony Page playing a little fullback. The big change today, let's look to see offensive lineman Eric Sanders playing a little tight end and goal line and short yardage.
All right, so we may have a different look in the silver stretch. Now, for the Packers, they've got an opportunity here to get to 500. Their fans are expecting a lot more of them the way they've been playing offense.
Without a doubt. It's put up or shut up time for the Green Bay Packers. They've got to beat teams that they really should beat, and this is one of them. They should beat the Detroit Lions. It's time for them to start making a move. Are they contenders or are they pretenders? We'll find out today.
Well, the Green Bay Packers will kick it off first, and it's a beautiful afternoon here, an unbelievable day in terms of the temperatures. Almost the 1st of November. We'll reach the 70s before it's over. Chris Jackie will kick it off, and Barry Sanders will be the deep man. They're using him on kickoff returns today with Mel Gray still out of action. Carl Painter back there with him, along with Walter Stanley, the former Green Bay Packer receiver. Sanders deep will not bring it up. So Rodney Peete will lead out the Lions on the silver stretch, perhaps with some new wrinkles in it today. And quite a confrontation, because that's his dad, Willie Peete, offensive backfield coach of Green Bay, the first time that they have ever played against each other. Rodney was a ball boy for his dad when he was coaching at high school in Mesa, Arizona, later at Arizona, and quite an emotional matchup today. Rodney Peete against his dad Willie on the sidelines, the coaching staff of the Green Bay Packers. First down from the 20. That's complete for a first down to Walter Stanley, the former Packer. About a 16-yard gain on the first play of the game. And Detroit offensively, Brown, Andelsick, Lever, Delacour for the injured Mike Utley and Harvey Salem. 4 wide receivers in their normal silver stretch setup with Sanders the lone running back. Keith McDonald now the starter ahead of Stacy Mobley. And Walter Stanley, the former Packer, looking for a big game here today. After some comments about his former Packer coach Lindy Infante inflamed some passions during the week. Sanders for about 5, maybe 6 yards on the play. Bob Nelson, number 79, the nose tackle on the stop. Defensively in their base defense, and we'll see some of it today, Winter, Nelson, and Brown, and then they'll bring in Mike Weddington when they go to the nickel. Now, against the silver stretch, you see a lot of defenders out there in various forms. Anderson, Noble, Holland, Tim Harris, the very dangerous linebacker, and Pitts and Jakes will be the nickel and dime backs. And again, against this Detroit offense, you can expect to see a lot of them on the field. Weddington is in now, and Chuck Cecil makes his first appearance. Number 26, his first game of the year for Green Bay defensively. Sanders, loose ball, out of bounds. It'll be Lions ball, and Sanders only got about 2 yards, driven out by John Anderson, the linebacker, number 59.
Gain of 1 on the play.
Barry Sanders so far this year has not made very many mistakes, and this is going to be one of the rare ones. He's lucky. The ball's going to go out of bounds. John Anderson, look at that, right on the ball. He slaps it. It just pops right out of bounds. John Anderson is a very, very good run defender, number 59, a veteran outside linebacker for the Packers.
Well, the Lions have been plagued by turnovers, and they were lucky there. Ball going out of bounds. Third down, a long 3. Peete quick release. Incomplete, dropped by Richard Johnson, number 84. He had the ball right on the money. Johnson failed to hold on, and that's been a problem for the Lions offensively.
That's a good example of what's wrong with this silver stretch. It's not the system. They're putting the ball on the ground. They're making some poor decisions in the way of passes and getting interceptions, and these wide receivers just are not catching the ball for whoever is that quarterback.
Jeff Query awaiting the punt from the NFC's leading punter, Jim Arnold. Query standing at the Packer 10, and Arnold at the 28 of Detroit. Good kick, hangs up into the wind. Fair caught at the 25-yard line.
Jeff Query has a fair catch.
32-yard punt. It left the foot of Arnold, doing very well, but there's a stiff breeze in his face. Don Majkowski brings on the Packers for their first offensive possession of the game, passing at 60%. He is the 5th-rated passer in the NFC. Rutgers, Moran, Bush, Hallstrom, Weingrad, and West. You will see some Mandarich, and you will see some Billiard at guard. Herman Fontenot, the 3rd down back. Aubrey Matthews, the 3rd wide receiver, comes in on the passing down. Good protection for Majkowski. It is complete to the tight end, Ed West. He hadn't caught a pass in about 3 weeks. Gets the first pass of the game. Chris Spielman, the linebacker, number 54, made the stop. Williams, Ball, and Brooks in the basic 3-4. Today, Toby Caston, a reserve linebacker, will be seeing action as a pass rusher. Williams, Spielman, Jones, and Kofer. Jones in there for Dennis Gibson, still on injured reserve. Ray Crockett, James Griffin, and Bruce McNorton will be the extra backs in passing situations. 2nd and 3. Fullwood, nowhere.
Fullwood.
Maybe to the line of scrimmage. Victor Jones, the linebacker, number 57, on the stop. Fullwood, who had 45 yards rushing against Miami last week, has been stifled the last couple of weeks, Randy. It's bothering Fullwood, and it's bothering the Packer offense.
It definitely is. You know, they always want to go early. They want to establish the running game. Well, it's kind of curious. They're a great passing team. I happen to think you go with what you do best and don't bother with trying to establish something that's been that big a problem.
3rd and 2, they bring in Mandarich and James Campen, lining him up on the wing as a blocker. Forward, big hole, 1st down to the 41.
They ran right at the heart of this Detroit Lion defense. Jerry Ball in the center of your screen, number 93. Blair Bush gets a fine job with a little help from Campen, 63. Big hole in the middle, and Fuller just burst through there. If we can see Green Bay to start running the ball effectively early in the game, it really opens up their passing game for them.
That's what Lindy Infante wants to see, and in fact, a little bit sensitive to criticism of so-called conservative play calling, but he believes in getting that running game going because he knows what his passing attack can do, and they throw on 1st down. Almost intercepted. Majkowski threw it right at Jimmy Williams, number 59, the left side linebacker of Detroit.
You know, Don Majkowski told us last time we were here, and he told us again this weekend, I'm trying to make fewer of these kinds of mistakes. Look at this. He's going to drop back. He's going to throw the ball, and it'll be right in Jimmy Williams' hands. Where was he throwing it? He's throwing it right there at Perry Kemp, number 81, but it's like the quarterback doesn't see that linebacker, and it can be a terrible mistake.
Well, that's the kind of thing, as you said, he's been trying to avoid. Indeed, no interceptions a week ago. He's been improving weekly, but was lucky there. 2nd down. Pressure, tipped, incomplete. Good rush by Michael Kofer, who is a good rushing linebacker, and now, by his own estimate, at about 90% of his physical effectiveness, bothered by an arch injury and a shoulder injury.
He said something a little curious yesterday when he was talking to his team. He said, you know, I like to rush a passer, but I like to come when they don't know I'm coming. Of course you like to come when no one knows you're coming, then they don't want to block you.
Toby Caston, number 50, has come in this 3rd down situation as a pass rusher on the right side at defensive end number 50. Majkowski out of the backfield. Good catch by Fontenot, and he has the 1st down. Herman Fontenot, a decline for that one, but he was open and made a good catch. Blades and Williams on a hit. 13-yard gain.
Well, you can call it conservative play calling if you like, but I think this is just an all-around great play. Majkowski just flips in there. Fontenot, number 27, doing what he does best. He gets in on third down, and he gets the first down, much like Pearson did for years with Dallas.
Former Cleveland Brown halfback out of LSU. Detroit territory at the 45. Good protection. Complete to Woodside. A gain of about 8 yards. Spielman on the tackle. The aggressive, intense linebacker.
Now here's an impressive stat. Look at that. 136 points they have given up to their opponents. The most in the NFL. Now look at the second half. They've only allowed 45. They don't get off to a real fast start in any of their 7 games so far. So far today, they look like they're serious.
Ball on the line.
Well, and their defense seems to do better in the second half as well. But so far on this drive, as you point out, they're moving the ball well. 2nd and 2. Fullwood, a mix of run and pass will leave him close to a first down. Eric Williams on the tackle, number 76. And they will measure. Some early scores from other activity around the National Football League. Wayne Fonts, as we pointed out at the beginning of the telecast, a very optimistic 1-6 team. It begins with a head coach. He says, we believe in our program, we believe in our system, we believe in our young players, and we think we're going to get some more wins before this season is out.
Well, he said to us, Tim, that we're a 1-6 team that's going places. I can draw a lot of analogies from his philosophy and some of the things he's trying to do from the standpoint of confidence, morale, team speed, quality people at the wide spots, to what Bill Walsh did with the 49ers when I was there, because I watched that whole building structure go on. I think Wayne Fonts has got some excellent ideas and goals.
From the 35-yard line, a Green Bay first down in Detroit territory. Fullwood, good defensive pursuit. The linebacker Coper tripped him up, and then he was wrapped up by Jerry Holmes, the cornerback. It'll wind up as about a 4-yard pickup for Brent Fullwood. A little early movement on the part of one of the Detroit defensive linemen, but he did get back in time and no flag was thrown. And evidently one was thrown inadvertently.
30-yard line, 2nd and 5.
So it is 2nd and 6. Packers using up 4 minutes and 25 seconds. The kind of a drive Lindy and Fonte prefers. Woodside. Nowhere to go. Now that's gang tackling, Randy. There's got to be 6 guys on him.
You know, that's one of the things Detroit Lions do very, very well. The defensive lineman's designated jobs, as Eric Williams told us, was to sort of occupy the offensive lineman. This is a linebacker's defense. Linebackers like Chris Spielman, you see there, 54. Jimmy Williams, 59. Mike Coper, 55. And they love to hit, and they love to hit in groups.
It'll leave 3rd down and 7. Woodside got just around the corner to pick up the 3 and then was buried by a sea of Lion shirts. The 11th play of this drive. 3rd and 7. Griffin and Crockett now in the secondary for Detroit. Griffin 34, Crockett the rookie 39. From the shotgun. Incomplete, intended for Kemp. Getting a hand on it, Jerry Holmes, the often maligned cornerback who is playing with a sore ankle today for the Lions.
Holmes coming on the play.
31-year-old veteran, number 43. That'll be 4th down, so the Lions let them into their territory, but stop them at the 32. And it'll be a long field goal try for Chris Jackie, a 49-yard attempt.
But he does have the wind at his back, Tim, and his open-ended stadium is at his back. It can be a real advantage for a kicker, especially here in Milwaukee.
He is 7 of 9 in field goals and already has a 52-yarder. He's got it. Rookie Chris Jackie, a 49-yard field goal and a 3-0 Packer lead. Tim Ryan and Randy Cross on a beautiful sunny afternoon here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Packers with a 3-0 lead, using up 5:18 in their opening drive, a 49-yard field goal, wind assisted. As you can see, the stars and stripes standing out nearly straight there. Chris Jackie, the rookie, connecting with a 49-yarder. Barry Sanders awaiting Jackie's kickoff, and it's another deep one from Jackie, driving Sanders back. Indeed, it lands outside of the end zone. Souvenir country for Chris Jackie. Well, these two teams have been getting at each other for an awfully long time. 118th consecutive meeting. The Packers leading the series, 7 ties along the way. Uninterrupted since 1942. The Packers at that time were playing, when they played in Milwaukee, at State Fair Park in West Allis. Packers leading the series, as you saw. On first down from the 20. Rodney Peete flushed from the pocket, picked up about 5 yards. Robert Brown and Brian Noble making the tackle on him. Peete injured in preseason, Randy, in that game against the Rams, and his dad, Willie, felt that he'd be a lot farther along in this run-and-shoot offense had he not missed the early games with injury, because he thinks that he was set back in learning the offense.
Well, that knee took a lot out of his practice time and out of his preparation, and now he's just now finally not having to wear that great big bulky brace we had when we saw him in Minnesota.
2nd and 5. Sanders has the first down to the 32-yard line of Detroit. Mike Weddington, the linebacker, number 52, on the tackle.
First down for Detroit. People forget that the first name of this offense is run. The run and shoot features a great running back in Barry Sanders. I believe Detroit Lions have a very good offensive line that has probably the hugest split, and the splits is the distances between each offensive lineman. They're 3 or 4 feet. Look at that graphic. So far this year, 5 yards a carry to lead the league. That's awfully impressive.
So they have been running the ball well. Indeed, their passing stats are good as well. They just have been killed by turnovers, and therefore points are not on the board. Flag down as Peete fires it too high for the intended receiver, Robert Clark. And the penalty will be against the Lions. Apparently an illegal block. And it might have been on Tim Harris, and sometimes the only way to stop him is to do something that doesn't fit into the rules.
I believe what we're going to see here, Tim, is an offensive lineman was engaged with Tim Harris, and a running back or another lineman came in and cut him around the knees. Once the defensive lineman is engaged with an offensive lineman, another offensive player cannot come in and chop him down like that. That's illegal now.
Dick Jorgensen and his staff discussing the infraction. Harris with 7.5 sacks, the leader in that department for the Packers, and second only to Keith Ballard of the Vikings, who's way ahead with 14. And Harris, a dangerous pass rusher.
We have an illegal substitution on the defense, unsportsmanlike conduct, chop block, offense. This is a 5-15 situation. Only the 15-yard penalty is administered. 15 yards back, first down.
So it hurts the Lions, despite the fact that each team had a penalty. We didn't see the illegal substitution by the Packers.
Tim Harris is on the end of the line of scrimmage. You're going to see him come up here against Rodney Peete. The key to getting after this silver stretch offense, here's number 97. Harris comes up, and there, look, Barry Sanders, number 20, got into his legs when he was engaged with Harvey Salem. Barry said he was improving his pass blocking, Tim, but I think he's getting a little carried away.
Well, he also said because of his size, he likes to try and touch him. He doesn't want to take him on. Sanders trying to get it back with a run. Picks up about 8, maybe 9 yards.
One thing about Barry Sanders that people really don't give him enough credit for is his size, Tim. Sure, he's not a tall running back, but he weighs 208, 210 pounds. That is not a small man. he's awful hard to spot in a hole because of his height, but he's definitely not a small person.
Short, not small, is the way those guys like
That's
to
right.
describe.
He's got some of the most powerful thighs you've ever seen in your life. That's where all his power comes from.
2nd and 15 for the Lions. Peete has time. Deep sideline complete. Johnson, first down to the 35-yard line of Green Bay. Tiger Green made the tackle after a 39-yard pickup.
Walter Stanley, their wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, number 87, told us yesterday this is a dream offense for a wide receiver. Quarterback can get good protection. A guy can go all the way on any play. And this is a great example. Break one tackle there, you're talking touchdown.
Johnson considered the slowest of their wide receivers, a former replacement player from the Strike League, a free agent out of the USFL, and one of the little guys, 5'6", 185 pounder. Sanders on a little draw. He's got some room. Looks like he has the first down yardage, and there is a good example of those wide splits you were describing, Randy, because he was able to pick the hole and get into it quickly.
Look at the distances between the center and the guards right here. The offensive linemen spread those defensive linemen out. As soon as the ball is snapped, the defensive guys have to cover all that ground. Now look at Barry Sanders. That's not a huge hole for a normal offense, but with those splits, he's able to jump in between the linemen. And look at the way this guy runs. You're a defensive back. You worried about getting him because of his speed, or you worried about his power? He's impossible to tackle.
And Stills made the stop. 2nd, less than a yard. Sideliner, did he get it? No. Fielded by Stanley.
Stanley, the intended receiver.
Sanford Rivers, the head linesman, right on top of that play and made a quick call.
Sanford Rivers was all over this call. He was right there, and he's going to let you know right away. Peete just fires this a little bit low. Stanley's trying to come back. He's being a good wide receiver. You got to come back to the ball. It does hit the ground first and bounces up. Most wide receivers like to kind of play act a little bit. Ooh, Mark Murphy gives him a nice shot in the back for his shoulder, too.
Matic and Malinchik are in as extra blockers now, something the Lions have started to do. 3rd and short. Sanders. First down. Noble made the stop. Lions keep it going inside the 25 of Green Bay, trailing 3-0. Rodney Peete, in his rookie year out of USC. He and his dad, who's an assistant coach with the Packers, still unhappy that he was left until the 6th round before being drafted. But obviously, when something like that happens, I think it just adds to your motivation. You've got something to prove, and this kind of guy with his character, I think, is going to prove it effectively.
Without a doubt, he just sort of exudes the kind of class and the winning attitude that a great quarterback, a franchise quarterback, has.
First down, Lions at the Packer 25. Sanders. Got about 4. Good defensive reaction that time by 4 Green Bay Packers, led by Harris and Noble.
You know, Tim, in that last short yardage play, we saw Malinchik and Matic and Sanders in as tight ends, and a lot of people have been watching the Detroit Lions would say, well, gee, I guess maybe they're going away from the run and shoot. But Wayne Fox wanted to make a specific point to us yesterday that this is just an adjustment. It's not changing the run and shoot. It gives defenses one more thing to worry about. The run and shoot is hard enough to prepare for as it is, but now you pile on some normal offensive plays, and it could be a defensive coordinator's nightmare.
Packers run on 4 defenders just before the snap of the ball, so the chess game is now underway officially. Peete. Complete. Fine catch. Keith McDonald, number 89, at the 1-yard line of Green Bay. Keith McDonald, recently re-signed from their development squad. Former Houston Oiler. Number 89.
Keith McDonald, number 89. He's kind of turned sideways there in the middle of your screen, trying to fake everybody out that he's not really there. Just runs in and runs a flag route right here. Nice pass by Peete. Great catch. we're seeing the run and shoot run right now the way it's supposed to. They're not dropping the passes, and the running is being very effective.
Now they got the power blockers in again. Malinchik, Nadich, and Page. Sanders. Touchdown. Well, no signal yet. I didn't see a flag on the other hand. Sanders is in the end zone. Penalty against the Lions, evidently.
Illegal motions, number 49, offense. Actually, 2 men were in motion.
Well, it's a new wrinkle, and it needs a little ironing out.
Well, maybe that's the penalty, no pun intended, you pay for trying things new and kind of off the cuff.
Tony Page illegally in motion, along with an unidentified blocker, one of Malinchik or Sanders, perhaps.
It's usually a tight end. When the back's in motion, a tight end cannot move. Yeah, that's 2 people in motion. That's a penalty.
Still first and goal from the 7 now. Sanders. Driven out by Ken Stills. Gain of maybe a yard.
Barry didn't get a whole lot of help on that play. It looked like Barry against the whole right side of the Packer defense. They were all out there swinging that run out.
Tiger Green arriving along with Stills.
He's good. Barry Sanders, number 20, is excellent, but nobody can go 1-on-7.
Well, now this is a test of character for the Lions here because they made several good plays to get to the 1-yard line, particularly the catch by McDonald, and then a miscue, and they've been plagued by them. Has him second and goal. Peete, touchdown. Johnson. A very confidently passed ball. Peete had his man all the way, and he put it right on the money.
Green Bay is a team, even in this part of the field, that likes to drop into zones. A run and shoot will kill a zone defense. And Rodney Peete just sees his man and flips it out to him. And what else can you say? Great offensive play, 6 points.
Well, he just looked like such a poised veteran on the play. A little wiggle from Johnson here, celebrating the touchdown. And the point after from Eddie Murray is good. The Lions have taken the lead with just 50 seconds remaining in the first quarter at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Our third man in the booth this Halloween weekend, the Great Pumpkin, has joined Randy Cross and Tim Ryan. And a great carving job there by a relative, shall we say, or a good friend of our producer, Bob Monsbach. And we actually had that Great Pumpkin shipped all the way from the east to show you how dedicated we are to Halloween here in the NFL. 7 minutes and 8 seconds used up by the Detroit Lions en route to their go-ahead touchdown. Murray's kickoff fielded at the 13-yard line by Workman, and Workman gets out over the 20 and is buried there. Toby Caston made the stop, and Don Majkowski will bring the Packers back on when we return to County Stadium in a moment. Tim Ryan with Randy Cross and the Great Pumpkin here at County Stadium in Milwaukee, where we've seen the Lions march down the field in their second offensive series, and they've rolled up 117 yards of offense, this time producing a score without a turnover. Escaped one penalty at the 2-yard line and still got it in. Now the Packers take over from their own 22-yard line. First down. Majkowski play action, a little screen to Woodside, and good defensive reaction by the Lions. The cornerback Jerry Holmes covering it well, holding it to about a 3-yard gain for Woodside. Woodside coming in with 30 catches on the season, has become a real premier receiver along with the wideouts for Green Bay. His second catch so far in this game, and Of course, if you ask Don Majkowski, which of those receivers is a guy you look to at crunch time, big play time, there he is, Sterling Sharp. Sterling's, look at, he's happy about something here. He says, I know they'll throw me the ball before the fourth quarter this week.
The word is they know I'm out there this week.
So far, they haven't thrown it to him. But they've had only one series, produced a field goal. Good protection. Defender fell down. First down, Lions, 35-yard line. Jimmy Williams made the stop. I believe it was Terry Taylor who lost his balance.
Well, we don't really see the whole field at all times, but what we're seeing, what's happening right now with the Green Bay Packers is Sharp is being double-teamed. That's leaving a lot of the wide receivers. That's leaving Perry Kemp one-on-one with a defensive back. They'll take those matchups all day long. The safety goes to the right. He's helping out on Sharp. Majkowski sees he's got a one-on-one. He doesn't see the guy flip. Perry Kemp gets it. It's like a birthday present. Nobody's around you. Sure, I'll run. What the heck?
It was Terry Taylor, number 21, who slipped on the coverage, enabling Kemp to find himself all alone out there. And we've now reached the end of the first quarter at County Stadium. The Detroit Lions lead it 7-3. Sellout crowd at County Stadium to watch this exciting Green Bay Packer team that has produced plenty of offensive excitement in 3 victories in 7 starts. But they trail 7-3 as we begin the second quarter. Tim Ryan with Randy Cross. Majkowski has time and delivers to Woodside. Woodside lost the ball. And the Lions have it. Randy, a case of a guy trying to do a little too much there. He had 3 defenders around him. He tried to squirt between the 3 of them, wound up losing the ball.
When you're surrounded by this many defenders, as Woodside is going to be, you've got to be thinking ball the entire time. This is not a dangerous play. Majkowski just dumps it out here to Woodside. The Woodside saying, I make him miss, I make him miss, I'll go in the middle. Oh, I got him beat. Oh, it's a matter of the ball. I'm supposed to have that too.
Well, it was Williams who knocked it loose. And Victor Jones came up with it, number 57. Jones has found a home here because of the injury to Dennis Gibson. A Plan B free agent came over from Tampa Bay. Played very well for the Lions in that spot. Gibson still on injured reserve. First down, Lions. Peete flushed by Harris and slides in there. Looks like the World Series, Rodney Peete, to the 35-yard line. By the way, were you crying at all when the Giants went out in 4?
Well, we got a lot better game here just in a quarter or so than they had in 4 games in the World Series. That wasn't even fair.
Well, that was a mighty showing by the Oakland A's in the Cross Bay rivalry. Willie Peete talking to one of his running backs, Haddix. Michael Haddix, number 35. And Willie Pete's obviously his first concentration is on his own running offense. That's his job with Green Bay, but keeping an eye on son Rodney on the other side. Sanders gets about 2 on 2nd and 4. It'll leave 3rd down about 1.5 yards at the 35-yard line. So the first turnover of the game goes in favor of the Lions. And that's the kind of thing they've been hoping would start to happen for them. Nelson made the stop for Green Bay.
Ball on the Lions, 36.
Rodney Peete now 4 of 6 for 82 yards and a touchdown. Weddington, Pitts, and Green into the defense for Green Bay on 3rd and a little more than 1 yard. Sanders has the first down to the 40-yard line of the Lions. Tripped up by Robert Brown, number 93 of the pack.
First down. Ball Lions 40.
This Lion running game is starting to pick up. One of the reasons they're doing so well, look at Eric Andelsick, number 65, the left guard, going against Brown here, number 93. Gets a little power, short yardage power block, stays with the guy. A defender like that, when you've got that much surface on a guy, it's hard for him to come off and make a tackle, especially against a guy like Andelsick. Andelsick is an intense street fighter for an offensive lineman.
Robert Brown, the Packer veteran, 112 consecutive starts. Wide open is Johnson. Richard Johnson, first down, Lions to the 43-yard line of Green Bay. Dave Brown, the cornerback, number 32 on the coverage. Johnson turning up in front of him. What a difference a few catches makes to the old run and shoot.
Oh, exactly. But, you know, the biggest criticism has been these wide receivers really can't catch the ball. And people keep saying the run and shoot needs to have little wide receivers. Wayne Fontes told us yesterday, he says, the heck with that. I take big, strong, fast guys like Jerry Rice any day. He says, wide receivers make your offense, no matter what size they are.
First down at the 43, the Lions driving again. Sanders gets about 3, maybe 4 yards. Tripped up by Robert Brown. And the linebacker Weddington, number 52. Detroit with a 7-3 lead. We're just underway in the second quarter at County Stadium. Packers scoring on their first offensive series with a field goal, and Detroit moving up 7-3. We've got doubleheader action on CBS today, and after this game, you'll be seeing a big one from Denver. 2nd and 6. Eagles and the Broncos incoming. Peete too high. Intended for Stanley. Nearly made it all the way through to Johnson, who was the deep receiver on the play, but apparently intended for the short man, Stanley.
Interesting defense on the last play, Tim. They had 3 defensive linemen with Harris and whatnot in there against Wayne Fontes' offense. But this has got to be a little bit confusing for the Lions coaching staff. All of a sudden, there's 3 defensive linemen. Looked like there were 7 defensive backs and only 1 linebacker.
Watching the Packers on Friday, they were trying a variety of defenses and making some of those late substitutions in a hope of confusing Rodney Peete. Peete completed. Johnson, first down, Lions. Turning a 3rd and 7 into a first down inside the 30. Tiger Green on the tackle. Richard Johnson, the first-year man from Colorado, has been busy.
Well, Richard Johnson was with the USFL's Houston team, and when Jim Kelly was making that run and shoot run to perfection. And so far today, this run and shoot is working. Peete hits him right in stride. Easy first down. So far this season, as we saw in the graphic earlier, the Lions have been looking at, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. Today, that is not the case. They're running the ball well, and that way you can open up your whole offense when you get short yardage on 2nd and 3rd down.
Jason Phillips in to replace Johnson. Drop play to Sanders. Gets away from the first defender. And picks up about 6 yards on the play. Blaze Winter had a shot at him. Murphy and Anderson finally got him. Blaze Winter, playing for the injured Sean Patterson, is now an injured reserve. Well, lots of action already underway in the NFL today in the early games. Houston leading Cleveland 7-0. Dent and Weddington into the secondary of the linebackers, rather, of the Green Bay Packers now on this 2nd down and 6. Release complete to Phillips, and he drops the ball. It'll be an incompleted pass. Mark Murphy put the hit on him, and the officials are ruling he didn't have full possession, and that ball came loose. It's an incompleted pass.
What the Packers are playing right now, Tim, is kind of a 34 defense. The last time the Detroit Lions saw the 34 defense was against the New York Giants, and Bob Galliano was a quarterback then. He threw for a little over 200 yards in the first half, and it wasn't any big surprise. New York did not go back to the 3-4 in the second half.
Now on 3rd down, they send in 2 more down linemen, so they've been doing a lot of shuffling. Scott Stephen has come in at linebacker. Ron secondary along with the big guys up front. Flare out to Robert Clark, and Clark wisely dove on the ball. I believe it was forward, but he thought it might have been a lateral pass, and he was certainly smart to cover it up. But it's 4th down nonetheless. A quick hitch out to Clark. He had nobody to block in front of him. I don't think that play was going anywhere anyway.
He didn't miss much by not catching that ball. All he probably missed was a ride down on his back as soon as he took on it.
So the field goal try for Eddie Murray, who's got 18 in a row, will be from the 32-yard line. A 42-yard attempt. Wind behind him. The punter, Jim Arnold, will hold. And it's good. Eddie Murray, 19 consecutive field goals for the place kicker of the Detroit Lions, and they lead 10-3.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chrysler, where we still believe there is no luxury without engineering. Braun electric shavers, it's through superior design that superior performance can be achieved. And by Coors Light, pure brewed in the Rockies, the Silver Bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now.
A look at downtown Milwaukee alongside the lake and much of the redeveloped Milwaukee. It looks so pretty downtown now, and we're at County Stadium. The Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions, where the Lions have just connected on a field goal by Eddie Murray, his 19th in a row, trying for the record of 23 consecutive field goals held by Mark Mosley of the Washington Redskins through 81 and 82. Murray's kickoff taken by Workman at the 2. To the 18-yard line. Tony Page leading a good specials team effort on the part of the Lions to stop him short of the 20-yard line.
So far, the Lions are playing with a lot of emotion and intensity. Somebody forgot to tell them they were big underdogs today and that this big, bad Green Bay Packer team was supposed to beat them.
Well, when you talk to Wayne Fonts and his players, we met with several of them yesterday, and we pointed out they're very optimistic 1-16. There is good spirit. They do believe in where they're headed, and they're not letting that record affect the way they're approaching each game. First down for Majkowski and company. Majkowski 6 of 9 and 77 yards. Billy Ard is now in at right guard for Ron Halston. Fullwood, with flags flying, gets about 2, maybe 3 yards. Victor Jones on the stop, and a holding penalty signaled against the Pack. Don Majkowski passing at 60%, 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Last week against the Dolphins, 26 of 42 and 2 touchdowns, no pickoffs.
Well, Don Majkowski and the Green Bay Packers.
Holding, number 57, offense, half the distance to the goal line, still first down.
Majkowski, there's Rich Moran, got flagged there for holding. You know, these guys got to get something going. They got to score some points. They can't afford to be far behind this Detroit Lion team going into the second half like they have all season long. These Detroit Lions don't take a lot of chances defensively, and they will not be easy to come back against.
The number 10 ranked defense in the league. The Lions, despite their 1-6 record. Majkowski with a lot of time and tries to get it to Kent. Good coverage downfield, and that is incomplete. Sterling Sharp was open deep, but he was the only man who was, and Majkowski went to Kemp. And you can see the Packers have a good opportunity here today to get to 4-4, and the way the Bears have been playing lately, who knows what can happen in this NFC Central. Minnesota with Herschel Walker in the backfield now has moved up to 5-2, but there are still doubters about the Vikings.
Well, that game next week between the Packers and the Bears could be huge. If the Packers can win here and the Rams get the Bears over in Chicago today, Minnesota's got a tough one on Monday night. This division could really get tight.
Down 20. Play action. Again, Majkowski with lots of time. Delivers to Sharp. First down. Sterling Sharp's first catch. A 27-yarder out to the 38-yard line.
Well, Don Majkowski's back there getting a lot of good protection. Sharp, number 84 here in your screen, is going against Kofor. Kofor drops off into his zone, and Sterling Sharp just comes across the field. You know, after being wide open on the last play, number 84 went back to the huddle and said, "Now, Don, I'm wide open. Hit me. Don't let me run around by myself until the fourth quarter when you decide to throw me the ball."
Sterling lets him know, even the head coach, when he's open and when to throw to him. First down. Again, good protection, and that's complete. Perry Kemp takes the hit and holds on. Terry Taylor put the wrap on him, but Kemp with a good catch and a first down at the 45 of Detroit. 17 yards on the play.
Don Majkowski right now is getting excellent protection from his offensive line. He's got all day to stand here and sort of pick his receiver. And a quarterback with this sort of knowledge and arm, you can't let that happen to. And bam, low tackle there. Perry Kemp comes down right on the back of his head, and thank goodness he's all right after a hit like that.
High formation for the Packers on first down. Play action. Woodside buried, and that'll be an incomplete. Well, will it? Yes, one official now signals incomplete. Spielman put the hit on him. Umpire Ron Botchin was just following that ball, but the call incompletion made by another official.
Majkowski faked the handoff right there to Woodside, number 33. Is Spielman buying it? No, he knows right where this ball's going. Watch 54. Bam! Woodside never gets a chance to get both hands on it and pull it into his body. Great call.
Yeah, no question. He didn't have possession at all. It's 2nd and 10, and Spielman, the very intense linebacker of the Lions.
Eric Williams was telling me, Chris Spielman, when he was at Ohio State, and Eric Amblesick, when he was at LSU, at one time in the game, fought at the coin toss. They never got a chance to get on the field and play. They were fighting.
2nd down. The blitz, and Majkowski is dropped. Spielman, with a diving grab of the foot of the quarterback, Majkowski gets the first sack of the day. Back into Packer territory at the 47-yard line. It'll be 3rd and long.
Here's Spielman in the middle of your screen, standing up, number 54. He sees the back go away. He reads blitz. He goes after Majkowski. Majkowski doesn't really have a chance here. Spielman comes in here and trips him up. You know, Spielman's really coming into his own as a linebacker in the NFL. At the rate he's going right now, don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if this is one of your Pro Bowl inside linebackers come January.
67 tackles so far. The knock on Spielman out of college was that he didn't have enough speed for the NFL. That's hurt him so far. Fontenot back to the original line of scrimmage. Takes a tough hit on the play from Crockett. And it'll be 4th down. Ray Crockett, number 39.
Well, Ray Crockett, number 39, is going to come up and fill on their screen. But look at this. Majkowski goes out, throws the pass. Fontenot's got 3 linemen. We can't see. There's 3 guys here. Crockett comes through here and, bam, puts the wood down to him. But none of those offensive linemen blocked anybody. They were just running.
So the Lions stop the pack. Watkins punt. Walter Stanley from inside the 5 opted to return that ball, got it back to about the 14-yard line. We'll be right back.
Nationwide is on your side.
Well, some activity around the NFL this week has been a dramatic and interesting week as Detroit leads our ball game here. Of course, this is the week they finally named a new NFL commissioner, Paul Tagliabue, and he's got to feel good about the NFL attendance. 12 of 14 sellouts this week, Randy.
Oh, without a doubt, Tim. I mean, a lot of people say this is the most challenging time of the decade to come in for a new commissioner. I think he's going to accept this challenge, do a heck of a job. He's got the TV contract, he's got the union stripe, he's got everything, but it's going to be a great challenge for Paul Tagliabue.
Well, a big day for him to start with those 12 sellouts, one of them here in Milwaukee, and of course an interesting interview with Tagliabue on the NFL Today earlier. A first opportunity for football fans to kind of get to know the man. Pete Rozelle become such a familiar public figure over his long and distinguished tenure as commissioner. Well, Walter Stanley tried to return the punt from inside the 5, so his team is going to have to start from their 14-yard line. The former Packer trying to make a big play. Rodney Peete with time. Out the right side, complete to Keith McDonald, and he winds up with about an 8-yard gain. Mark Lee on the tackle. Lee getting his second start coming off a knee injury. Last week he started and then split time with Ron Pitts over there on the left corner.
He tried to come back a little bit too early, Tim. When we did a game earlier in the year when they were playing Atlanta, he thought, yeah, gee, I can come back right now. And that was about a month ago. He tried to do it, and he found out the thing's still a little too sore. He laid off him for a couple more weeks, and now he's at full speed.
Speed has been missing in their secondary. They want Lee out there. Second down and 2. Sanders. Huge run by Barry Sanders out near midfield, breaking away from Mark Murphy and driven out by Ken Stills. And the tackler's getting some boos from the Packer crowd here, but this guy is hard to catch.
We talked about his lower body strength, those legs. Look at these cuts he goes. All of a sudden he's going forward. Now he's going lateral. Mark Murphy can't make the tackle, doesn't hold on. He runs a lot like Walter Payton used to. He's got kind of the same body type. He's a lot shorter than Walter, but he's got that such great lower body strength. He's able to move forward and then laterally at lightning speed.
27-yard gain for Barry Sanders.
77 yards and a quarter and a half, not half bad either.
Pitts and Green into the secondary now on first down as they expect the pass play, but they go to the draw. Sanders, and they catch him this time, holding him to a gain of a yard. John Anderson, number 59, and Mike Weddington, number 52. Weddington getting more playing time than he normally would. He's a backup linebacker, but he has good speed and good range, and they like him in on the passing downs, and of course that's what they expect to see primarily from the run and shoot. The ball right at midfield. There's Weddington, 4-year man out of Oklahoma. Second and 9. Quick hitch out. Blockers coming for Clark, and Clark gets about 3. Handlesick and Glover being asked to run a long way in a hurry. Did you like those plays, Randy, when they brought you out here? County Stadium in Milwaukee. Tim Ryan and Randy Cross with a sellout crowd watching this ball game. And so far, an impressive show by Detroit, Randy.
Without a doubt. You know, we said at the top of the show there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Packers. Well, they're playing like there's a lot of pressure on them. And the Detroit Lions are playing like they've got nothing to lose. They're just out here having fun.
5 minutes remaining in the first half. 3rd and 6. Peete caught by Richard Johnson. The little guy climbed the ladder for that one as Peete sailed it a little. Good effort by Richard Johnson. Tiger Green made the stop. Another Lion first down.
Rodney Peete gets good pass protection from his offensive line and gets a chance just to sort of scan the field, check the zones. He knows who should be open. Johnson gets up off the ground and makes a real nice catch. And here's specifically a little bit of this protection. You got Anelsick, 65, doing a good job. Lomas Brown does a good job there. Anelsick sees somebody coming in free. These two linemen are come over and get the guy that's free. Good job.
First down inside the 35 of Green Bay. Johnson with 5 catches on the day now. Sanders picks his way through, and he may have another first down. Johnny Holland on the tackle.
There's a lot of ways to see when a team is not playing very emotionally sound, is not playing with a lot of real intensity, and the quickest way to pick it out is when you're having such poor tackling. Right now, the Packers are not tackling very well. Granted, Wayne Fonz's running back, Barry Sanders, is a great running back, but this is a good Packer defense, and they should be a lot more effective wrapping up a running back.
87 yards on 15 carries for Sanders, just short of the first down, 2.5 yards. Sanders has the first down. Holland on the tackle. Detroit now at the Packer 23-yard line with 3:08 to go in the first half. And they lead 10-3. Wayne Fonts doesn't look real happy, but he's got to feel good about the performance of his team today. It's been the most consistent offensive effort without turnovers that he's had all year.
See him there on the sideline conferring with Mouse Davis, his offensive coordinator, the architect of this silver stretch offense.
To the 7-yard line of Green Bay. Stills and Murphy got him there.
Well, what's the best way to get people's minds off the inconsistency of your quarterback and maybe the wide receivers dropping a few passes? You get a running back like Barry Sanders, start running for around 100 yards in the first half. And this is not a real complicated play. Glover, the center, number 53, does a nice reach block on Blaze Winter in the middle, but Sanders just bounces it outside and uses his natural speed. Now the Packers start to converge on him. They drive him out of bounds. But the Packers have got to start paying more attention to Barry Sanders. He'll have over 200 yards today if they don't start concentrating on him, specifically him.
105 for Sanders. First and goal, Detroit. Peete incomplete for Richard Johnson. Johnson has been the primary receiver so far on this first half for Detroit. That one just off his fingertips. Second and goal. Peete now 8 of 14. 3 defenders come on for the Pack here just before the play begins, and you can see defensively they have given up 18 touchdowns inside their 20-yard line, and that's right up to the moment.
And they're not doing anything right now to make that stat any better.
Weddington and Pitts have joined the defense. Sanders, shot blockers, touchdown. Flag on the play. Delafour had a good block for Sanders, and he just was able to walk in, but let's see what the call is. And an illegal block against the Detroit Lions to wipe that one off the board. Twice now they've had penalties called back, touchdowns called back by penalties.
Another chop block by the Detroit Lions.
Foul, illegal crackback block, number 89, defense, 15 yards, still second down.
I think what we saw was the wide receiver, McDonald, come in from the outside and throw a chop block on the outside linebacker. A wide receiver coming in motion and blocking has to stay up above the waist on a linebacker. You cannot go down below anymore. That's been a rule for, gee, it's got to be a good 5 or 6 years now.
Well, they had an illegal procedure penalty earlier in the game that brought back a touchdown, and they scored anyway on a pass to Richard Johnson. This time they're backed out to the 22-yard line.
Tim Harrison, the Green Bay Packer defense, have got their arms raising. They want to get this crowd excited, and the crowd's sitting there going, "The heck with us, you get excited. You're the one that gets paid to play this game."
So Clark out of bounds. Third down. Robert Clark, the intended receiver, number 82.
A play like that is a good example of why this Detroit Lion team is so excited about Rodney Peete. He's a very mature quarterback. In a situation like this, an inexperienced quarterback is likely to try to make something happen, try to force a pass. Rodney Peete knew he didn't have much to work with and just threw the ball away. Wayne Fonts is trying to make a point about something to somebody. I don't know.
Well, he was talking to one of the officials, but whether Peete was roughed up, I'm not sure. It is third down. Draw play, Sanders. Good pursuit by the Packers, stopping him at the 15-yard line. John Anderson, the man to stop him. It'll bring up fourth down. Stills and Green there to help. And we've reached the 2-minute warning here in the first half at County Stadium. Detroit by 7. Tim Ryan and Randy Cross as we look at Wayne Fonts, who has been working the referee Dick Jorgensen and his staff. We're not sure what his complaint was, but He's been working overtime there. So Eddie Murray comes in now on 4th down to attempt a 33-yard field goal. He has a field goal already today, 19 in a row. Those are the guys ahead of him. Mark Mosley's mark of 23 certainly being threatened by Murray this year. And there's number 20. No! Hit the upright. The streak is broken from 33 yards. Eddie Murray hit the upright, and it is no good. So the score remains Detroit 10, Green Bay 3.
Eddie Murray, number 3, the kicker for the Detroit Lions, makes a lot of analogies between kicking a football and a golf swing. And if it was a golf swing, you'd say he didn't get his left shoulder out of the way and he pulled his shot a little bit. You'll see it just barely hit that upright. Barely hit the upright. What are you saying? He hit it right in the middle, and here's his reaction. He knows the streak is over. The last time he missed a field goal was in Detroit. It was a 52-yarder back in November of '88.
Murray felt confident about kicking here. He was 4 for 4 in a victory last year over Green Bay here at County Stadium. Majkowski to Sharp. First down, Packers to the 32-yard line. In the hurry-up offense, 1:46 and counting. Majkowski just got that ball away before he was hit by Toby Caston. So with a missed field goal, a chance to tie at the half for Green Bay. Majkowski looking for an open man into traffic, incomplete. There'll be a penalty flag and an interference call likely against Benny Blades, who hauled down Aubrey Matthews, number 88.
Defense, first down.
You know, you get in these 2-minute situations, everybody's concentrating harder, and that includes the referees. But this is not a hard call for a referee to make. Majkowski throws this ball. Look at Blades. He'll get there well before the ball, grabs his arm, grabs his right shoulder, and throws him down on the ground.
Matthews was going to have a hard time catching that ball anyway. It was off the mark. So a costly penalty for Blades. First down, Packers at the 47-yard line of Green Bay. 1:28 remaining first half. 10-3, Lion lead. Quarterback draw, Majkowski. Close to the first down. Packers take a timeout with 1:20 to play, and we'll be back at County Stadium in a moment. Tim Ryan with Randy Cross back here at County Stadium. Packers driving with 1:20 remaining first half. 10-3, Detroit Lion lead. Coming up at halftime on this Halloween weekend, Brent and Irv and all of the other well-decorated and costumed gentlemen on the NFL Today will have the latest scores and highlights and information. And our great pumpkin reminds you that Dick Butkus will tell us about the grounded New York Jets in his special halftime feature on the NFL Today. 2nd and a yard, Green Bay. First down to Herman Fontenot at the 31-yard line of Detroit. Clock running, 1:06 and counting. Majkowski complete. About a 10-yard pickup to Aubrey Matthews. And Green Bay takes their second timeout at the 21-yard line of the Lions. Don Majkowski and the Packers trying to get level here at halftime. They've got 51 seconds to do it. They're at the 21-yard line. One timeout remaining.
This is the kind of situation, though, Tim, Wayne Fontes' defense specializes in. They give up the yards, but as we've seen, they'll drop back into their zones. They like to come up and fill and try to cause turnovers. They don't give up real huge plays down the field, and when a field gets tight like this in this red zone area, they can be especially tough.
They've got Coper lined up in a pass rushing position. 2nd and a yard. He delivers to Fontenot inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. 40 seconds remaining. Majkowski to Fontenot. Is it incomplete? Grounded as Majkowski just rushed that one. A little too eager. That does stop the clock at 29 seconds left. The ball resting at the 8-yard line. 10-3 Lion lead. Anthony Dilweg, backup quarterback, along with the head coach Lindy Infante, getting the play in. There's Tony Mandarich. He's always hanging around there, hoping to get on the field.
Yeah, with that John Fogerty put me in, coach. Please. This wouldn't be a bad time right now for a screen pass out of the Green Bay Packers with Detroit dropping off.
Second and goal. Majkowski can't find a man. Kofer has him at the 10-yard line. Flags everywhere. 22 seconds on the clock. Number 55, Mike Kofer, at a defensive holding against the Lions. Randy, what do you figure? Somebody grabbing a receiver headed into the end zone?
Well, in that situation with that formation with the wide receivers everywhere.
Holding number 36, defense, half the distance to the goal line, first down.
Benny Blades.
You get receivers and defensive backs, they start crossing. Wide receivers down here in the goal line area like to put picks on defensive backs. Defensive backs sometimes like to fight through those kind of picks, and invariably when you fight through a pick and kind of grab at your wide receiver, the referee's going to call holding, and that time he caught Benny Blades, number 36.
First and goal from the 4-yard line. 22 seconds left. Majkowski trying to find a man, and he's got him. Touchdown. Jeff Query.
Jeff Query is not giving up that football. He gave it back to the referee, got about 2 steps away, and said, no, not my first NFL touchdown. Give me the ball. I'll take that home.
Chris Jockey with a point after. And we have a tie ball game. 15 seconds remaining. First half.
Well, Query is one happy camper. He scored a lot of touchdowns at Millikan College back in Illinois. But right here, we'll see Majkowski drop back, gets pretty good protection, decides to roll out. And this is the type of play receivers and quarterbacks practice a lot during the week. Quarterback scrambling, receivers are supposed to move towards the quarterback. He's wide open back there, and there's Mr. Query's first NFL touchdown.
Number 85, Jeff Query, bit of a phenom at a Division III school, showed well in the NFL Combine scouting camps and got himself drafted by the Pack. Has his first NFL score. 80 yards in 7 plays. Majkowski a 4-yarder to Query to tie it up at 10. And some fans of Jeff Query in attendance, and they got themselves a good location there for that banner. That's got to be one of the bigger banners for small college guys in the NFL we've seen. Well, at halftime, Brent Nerve will be along with scores and highlights. And we mentioned Dick Butkus with a special feature on the very disappointing New York Jets having all kinds of problems. They've had injuries, but they've had more than injury problems. And Dick Butkus will tell you about it. Jackie's high kickoff hangs up at the 12. Sanders for the Lions. Ankle grab on him at the 25-yard line. Johnny Holland, number 50, on the stop. So one last gasp for the Lions. Rodney Peete comes on.
That last drive's got to be a real confidence builder for Majkowski and the Green Bay Packers. Much like their sort of end-of-the-game heroics. To be able to do it at this point of the game is fairly unusual for them. They have not turned on their offense, especially in a great 2-minute type drive like that.
Rodney Peete, who's played effectively here in the first half, 8 of 15, 120 yards and a touchdown, giving the Lions the early lead. Now let Sanders see if he can spin one. Has the first down, 4 seconds, and that'll be it. Well, a well-played first half by both the Lions and the Packers. And it'll be a new football game when we resume here at County Stadium in Milwaukee. At the end of the first half, the score, the Lions 10, the Packers 10.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota's quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Owens Corning, our building products put your house in the pink. And by Diet Coke, just for the taste of it, with 100% NutraSweet.
Tim Ryan with Randy Cross at County Stadium in Milwaukee. 70-degree temperatures, almost the 1st of November. Here in the Wisconsin area, quite extraordinary weather. They had snow on the ground a couple of weeks ago. Rodney Peete for the Detroit Lions and Don Majkowski of the Green Bay Packers locked in a duel here as we begin the second half of play. And Majkowski has proven that he is a second-half quarterback. The way things have gone so far for the Packers, they have fallen short in some games despite his good comeback credentials, but they have won 3 times. And a victory today could get them to 4-4 on the season, with the Chicago Bears falling back on them. Vince Workman back to return the kickoff.
Sorry, Tim. Developing a tendency like that of coming back all the time, I think, in my opinion, can get somebody thinking, hey, I can turn it on and do it anytime I want to. You can't get trapped by that. That's the first sign that you're in trouble.
Eddie Murray's kickoff. Wind aided. Back to the end line. Carl Bland will not bother to bring that one back. So the Pack will start from their own 20-yard line. Don Majkowski brings them on the field, having scored in the final minute of the first half to get even at 10-10. 14 of 20 in the first half. Lindy Infante, much like this man, Wayne Fonts, believing in the system. It's his system. He believes that it's the correct way to go. He's developed a fine passing game. He wants the running to complement it. And he thinks this Packer team is a team on the rise. Forward on the screen left side. Lions shut that down after a gain of about 3. Victor Jones made the tackle, number 57.
That was fine recognition and pursuit by Victor Jones and that whole side of the Detroit Lions defense. They recognize a screen like that. It's their job to get up there, break down the blockers, and get after the ball carrier.
Brent Fullwood picking up a couple has not been heavily used here in this first half. He likes to run the ball more, like all good running backs do. And compared to a year ago, he's having a good, healthy, and effective season. Woodside, the release man, trying to get the first down, and he'll be close.
Brent Fullwood, away from the ball, was down around the 35-yard line all by himself on that play. All you saw out there was a lonely old number 21 in a green jersey. Look for them to maybe go back to that in a little bit.
Spielman and Jamison, the linebackers, stopped Woodside. It is a first down, Green Bay at their 30.
Well, Brent Fullwood, he said, my goal for this year is to get 16 games in healthy. I'd like to get 1,000 yards, but I want to be healthy for a whole season, please.
Fullwood for 12 yards and a first down, Green Bay to their 42. Spielman stopped him.
We're just going to take advantage of the middle of the Detroit Lion defense here. Blair Bush gets a nice block on ball number 93. Now look at Moran's out in front, number 57, and he's got He's got him pushing him in the back, driving him crazy. I can tell you from experience, you're running out there, you're blocking. Brent Fullwood, number 21, has got his hand in the middle of that poor offensive lineman's back. He's running as fast as he can. Gravity is not going to help.
Just 4 rushes in the first half for Fullwood. In his first of the second half. Play action, Majkowski goes to Woodside. He's got some running room. To the 26-yard line, and Woodside not happy with a hit from Blades. 31-yard gain.
2 things make this play work. Watch this play action fake, I should say. Brent Fullwood and the entire offensive line is going to carry it out. Look, it's a sweep, it's a sweep. They got the defense going. Now Majkowski flips it over here to Woodside. Watch this block. Sterling Sharp on the top of your screen, number 84, gets a great block. Turns the defensive back in. It opens up that whole sideline. And Benny Blades looks a little aggressive. Could have been late. I don't know. He was just barely out of bounds. I think that one's too close for a referee to call rough.
First down, Green Bay. Short drop. Quickly out to Sharp. Sharp has a first down for the Packers to the 12-yard line of Detroit. Majkowski took a good shot from Spielman after he released the ball. 14-yard gain. Only the 3rd catch for Sharp.
Sterling Sharp is a very strong wide receiver. People forget he's over 200 pounds, and he can break tackles very, very easily. See, Majkowski get dumped there by Spielman, 54. Now look at he's trying to put on these moves, and finally he says, look, you're going to have to try to get me. Well, he didn't have to try to get him all by himself. And here's Majkowski being dumped onto the ground by Spielman, perfectly clean, perfectly legal, and perfectly enjoyed by Spielman. He likes that stuff.
First down, Packers. Good penetration by the Lions defense. Stuffing the run attempt by Brent Fullwood. He'll lose maybe a yard on the play. Eric Williams and Jimmy Williams combining. Rams and the Bears tied at 3, and we're told that Tomczak, the starter, has been lifted for Mike Harbaugh as the quarterback of the Bears in that game. Of interest to NFC Central fans. Buffalo doing a job in Miami. The Dolphins have been coming on in recent weeks. Phoenix on top of Dallas, 6-3 at halftime. Second down. Little roll by Majkowski to the corner, and it is incomplete. Tipped along the way, intended for Kemp. 3rd down. Query comes on along with Fontenot and Matthews on the 3rd down passing situation for the Packers.
When a quarterback takes that quick roll like that, Tim, it's a pass that's got to be thrown quickly, because the farther or the closer he gets to the sideline, the more defenders get in that area and the smaller his field gets. He goes from having half of a football field to a 1/3 of a football field to usually a lane about 5 yards wide, and that's when you can really get into trouble throwing a pass where it doesn't belong.
Majkowski is 4 of 5 on this drive for 54 yards, and now he's got a 3rd down situation. They need to get to the 2 for a first. Sterling Sharp short of the first down, but inside the 5. Sterling Sharp saying, you know, they didn't find me until the 4th quarter last week. I hope they start earlier. Well, he had only 2 catches in the first half, but talk about a guy who believes in his ability.
Oh, there's no doubt who the #1 Sterling Sharp fan is in the United States. It's Sterling Sharp. But it's a nice play here. He just settles down in between the zone, and now he's going to make a few people miss. Makes 1 guy miss, makes 2, count 3, and all of a sudden he starts figuring out, hey, these are linebackers inside. Maybe I should just go straight upfield.
Did not make the first down yardage, so Jackie from the 12 chips a 22-yarder, and the Packers are on top, 13-10. The Juneau Park Lagoon here in Milwaukee on a beautiful fall afternoon this Halloween weekend, but with summer temperatures. Green Bay Packers have gone on top of the Detroit Lions as we see the changing of the leaves this time of year in the state of Wisconsin. Jackie's kickoff taken at the 13. Walter Stanley got out to the 25-yard line. And the Lions offense will go to work, guided by Rodney Peete. Well, next Saturday, college football, a biggie. Number 4, Nebraska. Number 3, Colorado at 2:30 Eastern Time.
This game actually now has a little national title implications here since Miami lost last night to Florida State 24-10. Colorado is playing very fine, emotional football. They beat Oklahoma yesterday, and they have not beat Oklahoma and Nebraska in the same year since 1961. So that is going to be a great game back in Boulder.
First down from the 25-yard line for the Lions. Trailing by 3. Noble showing blitz for the count. Good protection, but it's tipped at the line of scrimmage. That would have been Bob Nelson that got a hand up on that ball. Peete trying to come into the middle.
Well, that wasn't a case where the guy really got in all over the quarterback, got in his face, and blocked the ball. I mean, Bob Nelson, number 79, is over the center. Glover, number 53. You see, Glover's got a hold. He's holding the heck out of him. He's got him by the shoulder pads. Nelson can't get any closer. He just has the heck with it and jumps straight up in the air and blocks it with one of his arms. And those are not some small arms there either. Number 79, Bob Nelson, is a fairly well put together gentleman out of the University of Miami.
2nd and 10. Pursuit by the Packers. Maybe a yard. Winter was there. Weddington led the charge, number 52. Sean Patterson going on injured reserve, giving Blaze Winter a starting role. Has been a much-used backup, but now a starter. And Mike Weddington, who is normally a backup linebacker, getting extra time today because of the special defenses put into the run and shoot. 3rd down and 9. Early test here for the Lions in the second half. Down by 3. Want to keep the drive alive.
Green Bay's in their 32 defense here.
Receiver fell down. Robert Clark. Peete had good protection. Was going to Clark, but Clark slipped down, and he was one-on-one with linebacker Johnny Holland.
Green Bay showing a lot of that 32 defense, where they have 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers in the middle, and then they have 6 defensive backs, and they're all just dropping back into zones and watching those little wide receivers trying to cross in and find a hole.
Jeff Query awaiting Jim Arnold's punt, only his 2nd of the game, and first with the win. Backing up Query to the 24. Query gets to the 32-yard line. A 49-yard punt for Jim Arnold. Keith Karpinski made the stop. We'll be right back. Lindy Infante, coach of the Green Bay Packers, his team on top by 3, 9:32 to go in the 3rd quarter. Gets a little assistance along the sideline from Brad Infante, his son, who's just completed his senior year at Southwest High School, became the first 1,000-yard rusher there. And it's not a big guy for a running back, but hopes to play some college ball somewhere. 5'9", 165-pounder, delightful young man. So we got Willie and Rodney Peete today, and we've got Brad and Lindy Infante.
He's already bigger than most of the wide receivers for Detroit.
That's right. Maybe that's where he should hit. First down, Woodside. Woodside has first down yardage for the Pack. White and Holmes catch up with Keith Woodside, the 2nd-year man from Texas A&M.
There initially is not a whole lot on this running play. It's supposed to go over the right tackle. Woodside sees there's nothing there and bounces it outside. That is the responsibility of that backside linebacker. When he closes and fills on a play, he's got to be sure that running back can't bounce the play all the way out to the left like that.
A little equipment repair for Woodside. He's a very valuable guy. He's become a premier pass receiver for them. more than 30 catches on the season. Doesn't really get to run it too often because Fullwood's the main man. Play action fake on the draw. Majkowski in difficulty, just throws it away in the direction of Sterling Sharp. Good pressure by the defensive front, including Jerry Ball and Kevin Brooks leading the charge for the Lions.
Jerry Ball's a name we haven't called an awful lot today, Tim. And Blair Bush, number 51, the center for the Packers, must be doing a fine job against that great nose guard, I believe, from Detroit, Jerry Ball, number 93. You know, Ball, along with Casillas and Michael Carter, are definitely the class of that position in the league.
2nd and 10. Tony Mandarich getting some time at right tackle now for the Packers, starting this series. Fullwood gets about 3. It'll leave 3rd down and 7. Tony Mandarich wanting more playing time naturally, but understanding that having missed training camp, he just doesn't know the offense and hasn't learned all of the technique he needs, especially on pass blocking, as the man who is playing most of the time, Alan Weingrad. Although when Mandarich got here, he'd never even heard of Alan Weingrad.
He'd never heard of a pass block either, and it shows sometimes.
But he's been very humble. Once he got his money and signed his deal, he's turned into Mr. Humility here, trying to learn how to be a pro tackle. 3rd down and 9. Quickly to Fontenot. 1st down. Packers inside the 40. William White on the tackle, number 35, a 15-yard gain.
Don Majkowski sets his play up really well. Just gets Fontenot over the middle and just delivers him the ball. There's a big gap right there in the middle of the zone, right over the field. And here we see the pass protection by Mr. Tony Mandarich against Mike Cofer, number 55. Mandarich with his powerful arms. He gets his hands on a rusher like that. The guy isn't going to get away.
1st down, Green Bay, the 39 of the Lions. Going deep for Sharp, overthrown. New Orleans leading by 3 over Atlanta. And Phoenix holding on to a 3-point margin over Dallas. Dallas playing them tough today. Well, next we'll have in our doubleheader action the Eagles at Denver, and that a much anticipated matchup. Eagles still a pick of many, including me, to get to the Super Bowl for the NFC. They're at 5-2, and of course Denver off to a 6-1 lead, playing some good defense.
It's going to be a real challenge for that Philadelphia struggling offense with Randall Cunningham, because that Denver defense is playing great so far this year.
2nd and 10. Majkowski just got it away, and it's picked off by Blades on the deflection from Woodside. Flags are down. Benny Blades inside the 30 of Green Bay. Now let's wait and see. There's a flag down in the defensive secondary of the Lions. Woodside bobbled the pass. Majkowski threw it late under pressure, led by Eric Williams and George Jamison. The penalty against the Lions, going to wipe out the interception by Blades.
And this is one of the mistakes that has been driving this man, Wayne Font, absolutely nuts. A big play and a penalty.
Holding, number 59, defense, 5 yards, 1st down.
Jimmy Williams, the linebacker.
And we'll get a look here at what they were talking about from the hold standpoint. Jimmy Williams, number 59, just went out of the screen against the tight end. The tight end got away from him, and as Ed West escaped him, he grabbed him by the jersey. Here he is, left-hand side. There was the hold. Here comes the interception. You're going to be treated to a great catch here by Benny Blades. Watch the ball. Bounces up in the air. He's laying down. He cradles the ball, picks it up, and, you know, maybe it was a catch. Maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think it might have touched the ground. Doesn't matter because it's still Packer ball.
And it doesn't count.
Green Bay at the 35-yard line. Michael Haddix, his first carry, and he gets about 2. Haddix, number 35. So Green Bay with a second down here at County Stadium in Milwaukee, and the Packers with 6:29 to go in the third quarter, holding a 13-10 lead and the ball.
Green Bay has come back in the second half here with a completely different attitude. They're more aggressive, they look more confident, and they're really trying to stick it to the Detroit Lions so far in this third quarter. Breaking a 10-10 tie with a 21-yard field goal by Chris Jackie in their opening offensive series. For Ed West, can't bring it in. Third down. This is one of those passes thrown by Don Majkowski that a lot of people would say, he doesn't have a chance. Look at this. The one hand almost gets it. That was a fantastic effort by West. He's lucky he didn't land on that ball. That would have knocked the wind out of him for sure. Weingrad back in at tackle, man, or a job for Green Bay. This is one of those little moments in a game that really turns into a big play. In this case, defensively for the Lions. Down by 3, 6 minutes to go. A lot of football time to play, but important for them to stop Green Bay here. Majkowski eludes the sack. Sharp. First down to the 5-yard line of the Lions. William White drove him out, but the Lions have failed to stop Green Bay, and now they're on the doorstep. Well, you said it, Tim. Very key play. They've got to try to stop him. They're going to try to get after him. They're going to try to sack him. Majkowski just has the class and the poise. He steps up, evades the tackler, and gets the ball to the person you want the ball in whose hands you want the ball. Sterling Sharp, look at that hit. Whoa! Sterling Sharp just comes all the way from the left-hand side of the field, number 84 in the middle of your screen there. Majkowski hits him belt high. He gets going. He figures he's got a chance. But White says, nah, not today. Good air time, Sterling. 5 catches for Sharp now. 89 yards. On first down, Haddix. Touchdown. A long wait by the official, but a flag down. Flag on the play. Haddix got it into the end zone. Well, he was in the process of straight arming the defensive back. He had his face or his hand right in the face mask. A lot of the times you get a hand on a straight arm into the face mask, the natural reaction for the defender is to react in kind and get your hand on the guy's face mask. Face mask penalty is
the runner, number 35, rests the face mask of the defender. It's a 5-yard penalty from the goal line. It'll be first and 5.
Randy, exactly as you called it there, as he tried to straight arm, he wound up grabbing a bunch of iron, and he was nailed just as he was crossing the goal line. Actually occurred at about the 2 as he tried to struggle in. Well, it's a lot like an offensive lineman. An offensive lineman, you can put your hand on a defender, but you're not allowed to close your hand over it. And you see, he gives a straight arm to Jones, but he's got him grabbed by the face mask. He's towing him along the line of scrimmage there, dragging him by the helmet. Now, here you go. Here comes the arm. Straight into the face. He grabs Jones right by the face mask. Tough enough to carry a football into the end zone. I don't know why you want to carry a linebacker along with it. Now, you just witnessed a fairly unusual play. How often do you see an offensive player called for face masking? So the penalty called at the 3, 5-yard penalty back to the 8. Penalty-wise, things are even, Tim. Both teams have lost a touchdown due to penalty. Draw play, Haddix. Got maybe a yard. Tripped up by Kevin Brooks. So the Lions here with a chance to stop the Packers, having failed on that third down play. Sharp getting down to the 5. Again, another one of those important moments defensively. Obviously, it's as important to Green Bay to strike in there, but they've got the 3-point lead. 2. Third down.
Don Majkowski very smartly here drops back, sees that none of his options are open. Detroit has done a nice job and just decides, I'm going to run with this thing. Haddix is out in front of him, number 35, gives him a little bit of a block. He tries to fake like he's going to pass it. Then he decides to do the smart thing. He dives to the ground. He knows there's some helmets coming for his body.
Third and goal, Green Bay. Sharp to the left, Kent to the right. Haddix, the lone setback. He's been in this whole series. Touchdown. Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp does all his running around in the first half, setting things up for the second half, I guess, and that's the way the Packers have been using him. But he is a premier receiver, folks. Sterling Sharp, his second year in the NFL, he's going to be a superstar.
He wouldn't like to hear that, Tim. He already assumes he is a superstar. You know, on this last play you saw a touchdown on, there might as well have only been two people on the field. Don Majkowski and Sterling Sharp. Watch Majkowski. He's going to drop here, and he's going to look at Sterling Sharp. Look at him turn his head. He's watching Sterling Sharp the whole way, waiting for him to clear out of that defensive backfield and go in for a touchdown. There's a happy guy right there.
4:08 to go, third quarter. Packers on top. Back at County Stadium in Milwaukee, Barry Sanders returning it to the 26-yard line for the Lions. And Detroit, Randy, had the ball. So far in this quarter, they've had the ball for only 1 minute and 14 seconds. The Pack has had it for 9.5 minutes. So the Lions offense has had no opportunity here to retaliate. They're down by 10. So it's going to be make-it-happen time for the Lions, who played a very solid first half offensively. Let's see if they can get it going and if that Green Bay defense, which is usually tough in the second half, can shut them down. Peete, loose ball, dives on his own fumble. Brian Noble was the man to put the hit on Peete and cause the fumble. Blitzing linebacker number 91.
Brian Noble has sort of all day long to get there. Look at number 91 in the middle of your screen. He sees there Barry Sanders is going to come forward, try to block him, pulls a whiff on him, and Brian Noble comes in there with his arms in his head and strips Peete of the ball. Very heads up, though. They come on right in there and fall on the ball.
Talking with Barry Sanders about having to learn how to block because he's the only guy back there in this run and shoot in most cases.
He caught him at a very vulnerable time when his arm was coming forward almost on a pump fake.
Loss of about 9. Peete has protection, sideline, complete. Keith McDonald, number 89, made the catch. Mark Lee hit him immediately, and he got back the loss. It'll leave 3rd and 10.
Rodney Peete got that ball off just in time. Tim Harris leveled him as soon as he threw it. And we're seeing things from this Green Bay Packer defense. They are asserting themselves. They're playing with more confidence, and they're playing a lot more aggressively against this run-and-shoot silver stretch than they did in the first half.
3rd and 11.
Now their lineup, there's Harris trying to get the crowd involved. Willie Peete, with his heart, no doubt, cheering for his son, but wanting the Packer defense to stop him. Incomplete, off the mark, intended for Richard Johnson, number 84. Lions will punt.
Well, Peete had Johnson open on that play. He just missed him with a poor throw.
Jim Arnold, just his 3rd punt of the afternoon.
Jim Arnold, a Pro Bowl punter, and also they say is does the best impersonations on that Detroit Lion team. Though Mike Kofer claims he does a few good ones himself.
Query backs to receive the punt. Bounces sideways out of bounds, and they're going to spot it at about the 35-yard line of Green Bay. 2:26 remaining, third quarter, Green Bay by 10. Think those Packer Halloweeners have found our CBS cameras? You bet. Which reminds us, the coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Charles H. Milton III, as you see Michael Cofer in the Darth Vader look. Today's game produced by Bob Monsbach and directed by Kathy Barretto. Our executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. Cofer just running on the field.
Yeah, Cofer, you know, most guys do celebrities and impersonations. The president said, Mike, what's your best impersonation? He looked me dead in the eye and he says, a Doberman Pinscher.
Not a bad Freddy Krueger.
Did a pretty good Freddy Krueger.
First down. Majkowski under pressure. Ran into his own man. Was going to get hit anyway, but he ran into Blair Bush just as Kevin Brooks was about to nail him.
Oh, sure. Blame it on the offensive lineman. He's just there trying to do his job.
The center, the Randy Cross of the Packers. What can I tell you? The guy got in the wrong position. Watch it here. You tell me what happened.
That's one of the dangers of being an offensive lineman. You know, Don Majkowski is a fairly mobile quarterback. He can move around. He gets back in the pocket. He jumps around. Linemen have no idea. Look at Jerry Ball push through Blair Bush, number 51, and Hallstrom put Hallstrom right on his rear end. And there's Blair Bush. Oh, good shot, Blair. You're never really quite sure where the quarterback is. They can drive you nuts.
Second and 15. Majkowski steps up in the pocket, pressure again, gets it off to Fullwood, and Fullwood gets back maybe 4 yards of the loss. Majkowski getting up a little slowly. He was hit by Eric Williams. Meanwhile, Spielman made the tackle on the play. What did Eric Williams say about Tony Mandarich holding out for the contract, getting all that money?
Well, yeah, he talked about Tony Manders. He says, but the guy's not too bad. He goes, now look at a guy like Brian Bosworth. Look at all the noise he says. His analogy was, you know, an empty wagon makes the most noise. He goes, Manders has really handled it well. He knows he's not quite ready. He's not about to go spouting off and telling people he is.
Well, I think Williams thinks Mandarich is going to be a great pro. Majkowski on third down directing traffic finally finds an open man. Aubrey Matthews, but that hit the ground, and that'll be incomplete. Matthews complaining that he made a catch. Now, wait a minute, they're going to give him a catch or not? I thought I saw...
Incomplete pass.
Yeah, that's what I thought I saw.
Fourth down.
Gordon.
Well, Don Majkowski back here should get himself a lawn chair and an umbrella. He's got all day. They're not putting any pressure on him. Finally, Cofer comes loose to at least get into his field of vision. And did he catch it? Well, they ruled that the ball came out and squirted out. You can't even see that on the bottom.
Bracken will punt for Green Bay, standing at his 19. Hits from the 24. The ex-Packer Stanley will try a return from the 25. Slides her down as Stanley backs up to the 20, and now gets back to about where he caught the ball. Brian Noble and Clint Didier on the tackle, and they both had a little word or two for their ex-teammate.
You get in these return situations, it's usually a guy blocking either in the back or an illegal use of hands, and they might push him either in the back, push him in the side, push him in the head.
Back judge Jim Poole making the call, and Dick Jorgensen, the referee, signaling it. Wayne Fonts, a look of concern here as his team's offense stymied the last two possessions, and now the clock starting to work against him.
Number 36, receiving team, while the ball was in the air, declined. Illegal block, receiving team, number 51, on the run back, 10 yards, first down.
Rodney Peete bring it on as the ball would be backed up to the 15-yard line. And don't forget, next Saturday, the big Nebraska-Colorado game. Number 4 and number 3. Miami got beat last night in an upset. The next Saturday's game at 2:30 Eastern time with Notre Dame sitting up there at number 1. Suddenly, Nebraska and Colorado, a huge game.
Well, this one's going to be, I think, for who gets in that Orange Bowl on January 1st.
40 seconds left in the quarter. Lions backed up in their own end. Sanders, who had 123 yards rushing in the first half, going to have to carry the load again here.
Well, the Green Bay defense living up to their reputation of the stingiest in the league in the second half. Those are the last 2 times Detroit's touched the ball. They've got to get that running game working more effectively, and Rodney Peete's got to get that composure back and start hitting those wide receivers.
Second down, a long 3. Inside draw to Sanders, close to the first down yardage. And some talk and some pushing going on there as the Lions want to make sure that ball gets spotted where they think it's a first down. And that is the end of the third quarter with the score. The Green Bay Packers 20, the Detroit Lions 10. We pause for a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. New York Light, the company you keep. And by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer.
It is a Lions first down as we begin the fourth quarter. The Lions now to our left. Packers to our right. Sanders on first down is driven back by a bunch of green-shirted Packers. Gain of maybe 3 when they give them the forward progress. Winter, Nelson, and Brown all on the stop. Green Bay Packers with a 20-10 lead as we begin the final quarter at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Jim Ryan and Randy Cross. And now the ball game is clearly in the hands of Rodney Peete of the Lions. Tim Harris of the Packers trying to get the crowd involved as he does here at County Stadium and at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Short drop from Peete, has his man. First down yardage. Robert Clark hit immediately by Dave Brown, the cornerback, number 32. Dave Brown is 36 years of age. His 15th year in the NFL and playing with an Achilles tendon problem that kept him out of practice this week, but been out there all day today.
Detroit's patience so far, Tim, is commendable. They're down by 10 points, but they're showing no real signs of panic. They're sticking with an effective running game and their short passing game to this point.
Peete, 11 of 21 on the day. They haven't showed very much of that high formation. A flip out to Clark again, and Clark, nice piece of running by the little man, and a little help from his friends is close to another first down. Brown and Holland, Ken Stills all over him, but his tackle, Lomas Brown, number 75, got a nice push in behind the little receiver, who's only 5'11", 175 pounds. Pushed him up to a first down.
A very well set up screen to start with, Tim. Just a little flip out to the wide receiver and get your onside offensive lineman, Brown and Andlestick, number 65, Brown being 75, get out there in front of him, and they saw he was in trouble. He was being tackled, so they thought they'd aid him a bit.
Well, it worked. First down Lions at midfield. Peete with time, has his man. McDonald, first down to the Packer 30-yard line. Mark Murphy on the tackle.
Well, the best way to get after the silver stretch, we said, is to put pressure on it. Good way to fight that pressure. Take quick, rolling drops, and dump the ball into the zone right here. His McDonald right in the chest. McDonald takes a nice crack right there. But one of the best ways to get the rush going is Tim Harris to go. Tim Harris is a fighter. Look at him against Andolsick. He goes, he pulls, he throws him on the ground. But if Peete keeps getting rid of the ball this quickly, Harris can never get there in time.
First down at the 30. Raw play, Sanders. Too much traffic in the middle. Good job by the pack. Johnny Holland on the hit. Holds him to a gain of about a yard.
That was a fine job on that play by Holland and by Robert Brown, the defensive end. We talked about earlier how that backside linebacker and end have to maintain that contain. You see Sanders got his career high so far, 139 yards for the day, and he's not finished by any stretch of the imagination. But I was saying, Brown held that ground and didn't let that running back bounce things around him.
Second down and 9 inside the 30. Peete overthrows the intended receiver, McDonald. And it'll be third down. Well, we saw the Lions in a couple of critical defensive situations, and they failed to stop the Packers. Now they've got to do something offensively here. Green Bay, should they stop them here, will really have asserted themselves here early in the fourth quarter. A big 3rd and 9. Significance of the situation not lost on Wayne Fonts. Tipped, incomplete, nearly intercepted, but an incompleted pass at the 20-yard line. Good coverage by Mark Murphy. And a tip near the line of scrimmage.
I think this would have been a completion had it not been tipped, because Peete had his receiver and had him picked up. Here he's going to step up. There it is. Tiger Green just got a hand on it and knocked it up in the air. But you see, Johnson had that spot in between those two defenders, and he was settled in there and waiting for that pass.
Nearly made a good catch as it was, but the defenders were all over him. A 46-yard field goal try for Murray. Against the wind, and he's got it. Eddie Murray, his second field goal of the day, and that reduces the margin to 10. 11:36 to go. Back here at County Stadium in Milwaukee, Tim Ryan and Randy Cross. The Packers have owned most of this second half, certainly through the third quarter. You can see these stats indicate that, but Barry Sanders has been outstanding.
They've stopped everything but Barry Sanders to this point. But you got to give Green Bay a lot of credit. They came out of the locker room, and they've really asserted themselves against this Detroit Lion team in general, offense and defense.
Well, a 46-yard field goal by Eddie Murray has brought them to within a touchdown. They're down by 7, 20-13. And Murray will kick it off. 11:36 to go. So the Lions came up with points when they needed to on that last drive. Workman from the 10. The rookie Vince Workman is stacked up at about the 23-yard line. Well, next up on CBS, our doubleheader action will feature the Eagles at Denver. And that should be a thriller.
Without a doubt. I'm interested to see how Mr. Elway is going to handle that rush from Reggie White and the rest of that Philadelphia Eagle defense.
The Broncos under Wade Phillips defensively, their new defensive coordinator, came over from Philadelphia. They've done awfully well this year.
Well, I believe they're number 1 against the rush, and that's a change of about 24 or 5 ranking spots in the league since last year.
Packers first down at their own 24-yard line. Take it to 25. Majkowski in and out of the hands of West. Spielman, the linebacker, on the coverage.
You know, Lindy and Fonnie told us a few weeks ago that was one of the biggest improvements on this team was Ed West's receiving. Though he was shut out the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's had a fine year, and they're very happy with Ed West's progress so far at tight end.
Bears have moved in front of the Rams 10-3. NFC Central fans watching that one closely. The big battle between the Bears and the Packers next week. 11:22 to go, regulation time. 2nd and 10. Broke away from Blades, tripped up by White, but has a first down at the 42-yard line. 17-yard gain.
Ed West is going to come out of the left-hand side of your screen. Number 86 at 6'1", 243 out of Auburn. Majkowski sees he's open, just flips it right over there to him, and he makes a nice little run. I mean, he's not going to make anybody forget Sterling Sharp, for that matter. He's not a quick dasher, but he got good hands.
Not bad for a big 245-pounder. 24 of 36. Majkowski now, another big passing day for the young quarterback. Fullwood, not much, maybe a yard. Well, now for an update on that Bears game, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
And Tim, here's how the Bears scored the touchdown to put them ahead. Brad Muster from a yard out. A lot of folks saying that Muster should be a tight end, but he looked like a fullback on that play. Let's go back to Tim.
Bear lead in a tight defensive battle there. 10-3. 2nd and 10 from the 42-yard line for the Green Bay Packers. Wayne Fonts hoping for a turnover by the Pack here that would give his team a chance to get on the board quickly in Packer territory. Drop play, Fullwood. No, good play action fake. Majkowski tried to get it to Sharp. Jerry Holmes all over him.
Well, I guess when they don't throw a flag in a situation like that, Tim, you say, he's not all over him. It was a great defensive play. Of course, if it had gone the other way and they had thrown a flag, you'd say, it's pass interference. Here's Holmes, 43 on the left-hand side of your screen. Sterling Sharp, number 84, just comes down. Now, the question is, does he get there before the ball? Well, depends on what you refer to as before the ball and getting there, I guess. His arms were going over his back before the ball got there, but whether or not they made contact or not, maybe that's the question.
3rd down. Majkowski made a very good fake to Fullwood to fool me. Fontenot got about 4. That'll bring up 4th down. So the Lions do the job defensively. Jimmy Williams and Griffin were there.
This is really a testing time of a game like this, Tim, for a team like the Detroit Lions. A team that is unused to being in this situation will make turnovers, they'll make mistakes, they'll get the dumb penalties, and they'll play themselves out of a game like this. It's a test to see if they can hang with the Packers in a tight game.
Racken's punt, good one. Ball to Stanley at the 4-yard line. Good return by the ex-Packer out to the 31-yard line, taking it deep again and more trouble with his own men than the Packers. 8:59 to go in regulation time. Tim Ryan with Randy Krotz at County Stadium. 20-13 Green Bay lead. 8:59 to go regulation time. Tim Harris doing his cheerleading again and getting some help from Brian Noble as well.
I never really could quite figure out if guys do this for the crowd or for themselves.
They want to hear these people get involved. I guess the feeling is you can respond to it. More fun to play when the people are cheering for you.
That's true. You know, it's a home crowd, an enthusiastic home crowd gets the team fired up. Personally, I loved playing in front of any loud, enthusiastic crowd. It didn't matter if it was in Milwaukee County Stadium or in the Meadowlands or at the Coliseum in Los Angeles.
Willie Peete, offensive backfield coach of the Packers, watching his son with mixed emotions, no doubt. Packers lead by a touchdown. Sanders busts away from tackles and picks up about 8. Appeared that he ran into a brick wall and just bounced off it. He's something, this guy.
You've got to drive both arms around him to make a tackle. The offensive line for Detroit gets his draw play working. Harvey Salem's got Blaze Werner working upfield, and he just bounces right off Harvey's back out to the outside and gets an extra 4 or 5 yards where he really shouldn't have gained any.
Anderson and Murphy finally got him, but it's 2nd and 3. Pete's got a man. Robert Clark. First down, Lions. To the 43-yard line of Green Bay.
Robert Clark made a reception.
Peete, 14 of 26.
This is the second time we've watched Rodney Peete play this year. It's amazing. Week by week, this guy's confidence and knowledge of a football game is growing by leaps and bounds. He's looking in between these zones. He's hitting his open receivers. He's not forcing passes.
18-yard pickup for Detroit.
Hopefully that didn't just jinx them and they'll automatically force a pass.
It's been fun watching these two young quarterbacks dueling. Sanders, not much. Majkowski's first full season as a starter, and we've seen the Packers 2 or 3 times, and it's been a treat watching his development, even in the course of this season, and his own commentary about it. Now here's Rodney Peete, who is a young guy that's learning game by game, and it's Tim Harris down and hurt for the Packers, a key defensive performer.
He got caught up in that pile trying to tackle Barry Sanders. It's one of the drawbacks. You get around that many guys, you're going to be subjected to your guys on your own team hitting you. I made the comment about Tim Harris getting hit by his own guy. Well, Eric Andelsick, number 65, has got his arm wrapped around his left leg, and as we see it go, Andelsick is tackling Harris. It's his weight on the left leg of Tim Harris that kind of twisted it and tweaked it around as that pile pushed him backwards.
Mike Weddington has come in to replace Harris, being attended to on the sideline. 2nd and 8. A long 8 for the Lions. Peete flush. Incomplete. His receiver slipping, trying to get back to the ball, thrown off the mark. Richard Johnson, the intended receiver.
Richard Johnson.
Harris coming back on the field and limping slightly.
He waves to the crowd. He says, "Don't worry, guys. Merely a flesh wound. Had worse."
He is a character, this guy.
Now they got him mad. Look at that face. He's not waving at the crowd and smiling anymore. He's serious.
Harvey Salem says this guy talks like nonstop.
Yeah, he says some guys talk before plays, some guys talk after plays. Because this guy talks during the plays. I don't know where he gets all the extra wind.
But he did say he voted for Harris for the Pro Bowl last year. It does bother some of his opponents that he talks so much. Salem says, hey, he's a good player. 3rd down. Sanders. Crowd likes that effort by Ron Pitts. Going low to stop Barry Sanders, bringing up a 4th down. 6:39 to go. Wayne Fonts mulling possibilities on the sideline. Eddie Murray waiting to come on.
Well, it's decision time. Does he go for it on 4th, or does he punt it and try to coffin corner? And I guess special teams coach Frank Gans is sending his punting team onto the field. I think this is a good decision. 6.5 minutes to go, 6 minutes and 19 seconds or so to go. It's not a bad idea to try to pin these guys back. You're going to get the ball back within a couple minutes.
Eddie Murray was actually about 4 yards out on the field, I guess assuming that the coach might ask him to try the field goal. A little bit longer. Arnold angles for the corner. Gets a dandy punt down at the 5-yard line. And a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. Probably somebody downfield early by Detroit. And that would be a tough break for Arnold and company, because Arnold delivered a perfect 32-yard punt. But it is against the Lions. So again, you can see Wayne Fonts saying we've done it to ourselves again. They haven't turned the ball over today, but they've had a number of penalties in key situations, wiped out a couple of touchdowns. They got the points back on one of those occasions.
Holding, number 59, offense, 10 yards, still 4th down.
You know, Tim, if it wasn't such a close game, I think you'd be emphasizing the fact that Jimmy Williams gets called for holding, that the receivers have dropped about 7 or 8 balls, that they've had a couple of Barry Sanders touchdowns called back. But in the way Detroit's played so far today, they've overcome all that. They've had the character, and they've had a leadership from a guy like Fonts. You want a punter like this guy, Jim Arnold, punting for you in this situation.
See if he can repeat his previous effort. making a fair catch inside the 10. So it cost him 5 yards. Arnold did a good job. 2 punts in a row. The NFC's leading punter. Well, leading in other categories are CBS primetime entertainment. 60 Minutes. He's the kind of reporter who tells it like it is. In New York? No, in Moscow, and that's not easy. Follow that story tonight on 60 Minutes. Followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday movie, The Lady Forgets, a romantic thriller starring Donna Mills, all tonight on CBS.
Ball is on the Packer 10-yard line.
First and 10, Pack at their own 10-yard line. Sharp left. Kemp right. Draw play. Fullwood. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Now let's go for another NFL update to Brent Musburger.
Tim, this is the play that has put the Chicago Bears in command. Harbaugh, and a great catch by Wendell Davis, sets up a touchdown run by Harbaugh, and the Bears pulling away now 17-3. Back to Tim.
Well, Brent, two teams that have been kind of slipping the last couple of weeks. They meet each other, and the Bears so far on top of the Rams, 17-3, and Jim Harbaugh getting his chance today after Tom's act was lifted. Second and 9. Green Bay. Majkowski, the ball tipped and caught by Holmes. Holmes to the 2-yard line. Sterling Sharp saw the ball pop off his fingertips, and Jerry Holmes takes it to the Packer 2.
You know, Holmes' teammates have got to feel good for him here. He's been getting a lot of criticism. He's had some bad games, but Majkowski's going to drop back here. The ball doesn't get tipped by any of the defenders, but Sterling Sharp bounces it off his chest, goes up in the air, and Holmes is right there. And if anybody needs a big play into his resume, at this point, it's Jerry Holmes, number 43. Here we'll see it again. Ball tries to get a hand on it. It bounces off of Sharp. Sharp isn't around to make the tackle. Majkowski cuts him off and saves the touchdown. Woodside gets a hand on him, and then Bush and Fullwood finish him off.
There's Jerry Holmes being congratulated on a big play. Page in the backfield with Sanders now, and a blocking tight end. Sanders is stuck. The flag is down. John Anderson and Brian Noble are there for the Green Bay Packers. The penalty apparently against the Lions. An identical situation to earlier in the game.
Number 74, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Joe Malinchik, one of the extra blockers brought in on the goal line situation for Detroit. Charged with holding. That brings it back to the 11-yard line. 9th penalty for the Lions. 89 yards against them.
There's Joe Malinchik, number 74, who obviously disagrees with that call. That's his second penalty down here in the goal line situation. Earlier, he was called for moving while Page was in motion down there on the 1-yard line.
84 yards charged against the Lions. Green Bay relatively free of damaging penalties. Draw play to Sanders. Weddington. Loss of 2. Lions going backwards after the turnover by Holmes, getting them to the 2-yard line.
Well, we don't have to worry about seeing any of the fancy stuff with offensive linemen. You know, Miles Davis, this run and shoot will be featured here. You won't see an offensive lineman at tight end. I don't think we're going to see Page at fullback. They got the ball farther enough back now. Now they can run and shoot.
Well, they've run it well with Sanders, and they throw it well. Peete gets time. Now he takes out. Peete legging to the end zone. Touchdown, Rodney Peete.
That play almost looked like a replay of Rodney Rodney Peete's touchdown run against Tampa a couple weeks ago in the last seconds to win that ball game.
Still 3:59 to play. Murray with a chance to tie it up. Well, there was no doubt once he pulled it down that Rodney Peete was going to run it to the end zone. Murray has the point after, and we have a tie football game.
Let's take a look at it here from almost a defensive back standpoint. Peete goes back to pass. He's getting fine pass protection, but that's not while he's running. He's not running out of pressure. He's running because he sees this opening. Look at him. He's going to dive for the goal line. The heck with letting somebody hit me. I'm in. Good play. And what's the reaction of his head coach? Oh, is he going to get in? Is he going to get in? What? Come on, Wayne. Jump. Do something. There you go. Rodney! You know, Wayne's the guy, too. He'll get the players coming off the field, give them a hug, slap them on the back. It's good to see. I mean, he's got a great relationship going with his players so far this year. And like we said, they're the most confident 1-6 team you'd ever want to see.
Well, they just feel good about their future no matter what. And they're just chipping away. Of course, they want to win every week. And they want to win this one. Now they've got a chance. 3:59 to go.
Well, what they've done today, which has been a little bit different for them, they finally started to overcome themselves. They've gone in every game having to play two teams. They've got to try to beat their opponent, and then they've got to try to beat themselves, because they're the ones that are always getting the penalties and the turnovers.
Now, next up, our doubleheader action will feature the Eagles and the Broncos at Denver. Buddy Ryan in there against his former defensive coordinator, Wade Phillips. Bum Phillips' son now running the defense of the Denver Broncos. Murray's kickoff. Workman from the 12. He stopped at the 24-yard line. And Don Majkowski will come on. Lindy Infante gets his playlist ready for Majkowski. Green Bay today, that fumble that led to a field goal earlier in the game. And then the interception by Holmes off the pass intended for Sterling Sharp, who has been outstanding again today, but didn't squeeze the ball on that one just as the hit arrived, enabling the opportunity for Holmes to take it down to the 2. Rodney Peete's touchdown has tied it at 20. Tim Ryan and Randy Cross, and we're going to have another thrilling finish here for you. The Packers and the Lions. Old rivalry. Short drop, Majkowski to Sharp. Tripped up by Holmes, finished off by the linebacker, Victor Jones. Well, the sellout crowd at County Stadium has gone quiet here as the shadows lengthen across the field and across their Green Bay Packers.
Detroit, with their 10 points in the fourth, has pulled this close. But what I'm looking for here is a confident Green Bay Packer team. They've done this in the past. They've closed at the end, and they snatched a win away from a very respectable team, as Detroit has been today.
Majkowski marched them down in the final minute of the first half for a score. He is sacked at the 30-yard line. Eric Williams, third sack of the day for the Lions.
Big Eric out of Washington State University. We'll see on a replay here. He'll be the second guy in on the left as you look on your screen. See that nice big wide stance of Eric working against Alan Weingrad there. And Majkowski, this sack goes to the defensive back. Good coverage by the DBs allowed Majkowski to stand back there long enough for Eric Williams to get him. There's Eric. He's trying to get his own sideline going. Eric, by the way, has got a TV show in the works back there in Detroit on cable. Eric and his Bachelor Cooks or something they're going to put together? I don't know, Eric. I mean, his first guess, he says, is going to be Ball. Jerry Ball.
Second and 18. Complete to West, the tight end. Finding West in the middle here in the fourth quarter. Third pass to West. Williams and Crockett made the tackle, and it'll leave third down and 4. Well, if there's a big play in the game, it's right here. 2:17 and counting down. Green Bay has got to keep the ball going here. Tied at 20.
Green Bay's in no hurry to get this playoff before the 2-minute warning. Majkowski's satisfied just to run to the sidelines and get back after the break.
So we have reached the 2-minute warning. Tied at 20 in Milwaukee. Tim Ryan and Randy Cross. Milwaukee's County Stadium. 2 minutes to play. We're tied at 20. And each team with all of their timeouts remaining. Third down situation for the Packers. And we said at the outset of the game that a big game for Green Bay, because a victory here would give them a 4-4 mark, and the Bears, while leading the Rams, have been slipping in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So this is still a team very much in the playoff hunt. And the Infante would not like to lose to a 1-6 team at home. And the Bears and the Rams, now the Rams coming back on Chicago. 17-10 the score there now. Third down and 4, Green Bay. They fake the reverse. The pass to Font, incomplete. Not a good pass from Majkowski, but Fontenot a little eager to get upfield with it. All he had to do really was stop and catch that ball, and he would have had the first down.
They set this play up very well. Watch the linemen. They're pulling one way, go the other. He fakes the reverse. He just dumps this ball over. I think actually, Tim, it's a fine pass by Majkowski. I think Fontenot is just worried about, A, is he going to get hit, and B, just how far downfield am I going to run, and he took his eyes off.
So the Packers have to punt. Flag down on the punt play. Stanley let that one go into the end zone. 56-yarder by Bracken. But it looks like it's coming back. Yes, it is. Somebody going early downfield. Once a defensive back, always a defensive back.
Who says opponents can't get along? Look at these two guys. The teams on the same sideline, Wayne Fonts and Dave Brown. They're almost the same age.
Downfield on the punt. Number 51, kicking team. 5 yards, still 4th down.
Maybe they played together at one time of their careers.
Blair Bush, the man downfield early, number 51. That is a rare sight. And it happens here in Milwaukee because the teams are on the same side of the field. So they can meet and wrap a little bit there. And Fonzo, DB himself, just checking in with Dave Brown.
You know, though it's good to get this ball on the 20-yard line, if you're Wayne Fonts, you got to be worried. Gee, is this a chance for a mistake? Is this a chance for a turnover by taking this extra kick?
Bracken pounds another one with the win. Stanley from the 15. Motors out to the 30-yard line. A pretty good field position for the Lions. As we see the scoreboard, look at that. 49-16, the Bengals airing it out.
Sam Weiss has got that offense working, and Cleveland's not taking it easy on Kansas City.
On
Houston, I mean.
Pittsburgh on top. Buffalo beating up on Miami. New England and Indianapolis, they've been locked in a close game all the way, just like this one. New Orleans, likewise, against Atlanta. And Phoenix and Dallas, that's moved to 16-10. And more action ahead on CBS today at Dandy, the Eagles and the Broncos in Denver.
The challenge for Detroit here is to run the ball and run out the clock.
1:37. Sanders. Pulled down by Ron Pitts, but he's into Packer territory at the 40-yard line. 1:22 remaining.
You get into this 4-minute offense, and with a minute and a half to go, 4-minute offense, I mean, you got to run the ball. You got to get first downs. You don't want to give up the ball. Sanders and the offensive line do a fabulous job here. He takes advantage of those big splits. Along with those big splits, he's getting some very, very fine blocks from his offensive line.
31-yard run for Sanders up to 181. He said he'd get 200. He may yet. Sanders bowls for another 4 yards. 49 seconds and counting down. We're going to the wire with a timeout on the field at County Stadium in Milwaukee. 48 seconds to play. Tied at 20. Green Bay led early. The Lions have battled back. The touchdown run by Rodney Peete here in the fourth quarter to even things at 20. Lions with 2 timeouts left. Green Bay with 3. Sanders 184 yards rushing, and the run and shoot has been truly that today, Randy Cross.
Well, Wayne Fonte and the Detroit Lions have had every excuse today not to really play well. They've had the penalties at key times. They've had turnovers. They've had drop balls. But he's got this team believes in itself so much. I can't say that it's the Green Bay Packers' fault completely. I don't believe they've played that poorly. They came out in the second half, and I believe Lindy and Fonte had these Packers ready to play. I think you have to give the credit to Wayne Fonte and the Detroit Lions. They've hung in there, and they did it when they had to.
3 years in a row, they've started 1-6. It's been a discouraging time back in Detroit for Lions fans, but each year they have won the 8th game of the year, and they've got an opportunity here. You saw Eddie Murray warming up the legs. 48 seconds to go. Murray has 2 field goals today and 1 miss. Packers have it. Tim Harris.
Here's Harris at the top end against Lomas Brown, number 75. Peete gets hit and fumbles the ball. The ball comes loose, and Harris gets the ball.
First turnover today by the Lions, who have hurt themselves in other ways. But the first turnover, and it was Richard Johnson, one of the wide receivers lined up in the slot, who was going to take a handoff, in effect a reverse play, and collided with Peete because of the defensive push from Green Bay. First down, Packers. Majkowski's hit by Kofer, but he holds on at the line of scrimmage. 38 seconds left. Green Bay timeout. Kofer got a good lick on Majkowski. Credit to the quarterback, hanging on to the ball.
Now, for those of you out there that say, hey, do you go to a prevent defense now? All a prevent defense usually does for you is prevent you from winning. Green Bay does a good job of pass protecting. Majkowski doesn't see anybody open. They're covering everybody. Never sees Kofer. Look at that acceleration. That's one thing Mike Kofer does well. Right before impact, he speeds up a little bit. Watch him come zipping off this block and accelerate right through Don Majkowski and put him down. Credit to Don Majkowski. He held on to the ball there.
So 2nd and 10. Green Bay trying to get into field goal position. 38 seconds left. They're at their own 44. We are tied at 20. Lions' 10th ranked defense in the NFL. They play with a lot of confidence, and they know that overtime is a possibility here. Anything can happen yet. 4 wide receivers in for the count. That's complete to Jeff Query. Short of the first down. It'll leave 3rd and about 1. Flag down back at the line of scrimmage. Holding Green Bay.
Holding, number 75, offense, 10 yards, still 2nd down.
Left tackle Ken Rutgers charged with holding.
Rutgers is at left tackle here, and we're going to see the Detroit Lions running some stunts. Look at him going right here. He gets him underneath the arm. What his big mistake is, we didn't see it there on that replay, but what his big mistake was, he took the guy all the way to the ground. Whether it's holding or not, when you make that emphasis of driving somebody down to the ground, referees most times assume you're holding that defensive lineman.
Costly penalty. Majkowski wants to run it. Slides in back at the original line of scrimmage, near the 45-yard line. 24 seconds left. Packers take their 2nd timeout.
That's one thing about Don Majkowski. Look at him right now. He's just sort of strolling over to the sideline. No big deal. I mean, heck, I got 24 seconds. That's got to be a good 3 plays. Why should I be nervous?
Well, he's got a lot of poise. He's just growing in confidence week by week, and his players are responding to that, I think, Randy. You know, he hangs out with his offensive linemen on Thursday nights and looks forward to that. They respect him in many ways. Tough guy, willing to risk his body out there when he has to. Wayne Fonts talking to Jimmy Williams, one of the leaders on his defense. Well, at the end of this game, we're going to be going to a dandy out in Denver. The Philadelphia Eagles, Buddy Ryan's Eagles, against the Denver Broncos. In Philadelphia at 5-2, the Broncos at a somewhat surprising 6-1, particularly because their defense has played so well, and John Elway did not have a great start in terms of personal stats early on in the season. But there they are at 6-1. That should be a dandy.
Well, a surprise with Denver, too, Tim, is, I mean, Bud Collier and the whole defensive staff gets fired last year. You figure it's going to take at least a year or two to get a new system in and functioning.
Wade Phillips getting the chance coming over from the Eagles as Buddy Ryan wanted to install Jeff Fisher as his defensive boss. Of course, Ryan is really the head defensive coach. That's his forte. Wade Phillips has done a job in Denver.
So this Detroit defense is going to be giving a lot of yardage. Let's look for something down the field.
Sideline pass to Query, and the rookie has the first down at the 41-yard line. Coming back on Jerry Holmes. Perfectly executed Majkowski to Query.
Now this sets up a situation where they can now get within field goal range. Majkowski throws a nice pass out here, gets great pass protection, and just zips it out. Detroit is playing very soft. They're giving him a heck of a lot of yards, and in this case, Query hits a 15-yard out like this. See Chris Jackie's over on the sideline. He's going to practice a few kicks. Right now, he'd be kicking about a 57-yard field goal, so I'm sure, or a 59-yard field goal. They want to get it a lot closer than that. They need at least 15 yards.
Majkowski just gets it off and throws it out of bounds as he was about to go down in the hands of both Eric Williams and Kevin Brooks. Wayne Fonts, I'm sure hoping that they were going to call in the grasp there. It was close, but Majkowski, I don't think, was in the control of either of those defenders, and he just threw the ball out of bounds.
He'd even settled for intentional grounding for throwing the ball away like that, but it was needed.
2nd and 10 from the 41-yard line. Jackie has 2 field goals today, one from 49 yards. Majkowski lots of time. Goes to Fontenot. Fontenot trying to get to the first down. Williams brings him down. It'll be 3rd and a yard. 5 seconds left. So Jackie comes on the field.
Well, they got 10 of those 15 yards we were talking about, Tim. And they're going to be looking at about a 48 to 49-yard field goal here with 5 seconds left to win the game.
Jackie has a 49-yarder to his credit in the game, and he has the wind with him. Although the wind is not quite as strong as it was earlier in this game. It'll be a 50-yard attempt for the rookie. And number 7 pick. 9 of 11 on field goals so far this year. Jackie has a 52-yarder to his credit this season. 49-yarder here today, as we pointed out. Bracken will hold. Jackie at least attempting to look relaxed here with the game on his toe. And the Lions say, let the rookie think about it just a little longer.
You know, in this situation, Tim, I'll bring up somebody that's under a lot of pressure that I don't think a lot of people really understand. The center, Blair Bush. Blair Bush has got to make a perfect snap on a 50-yard field goal. You can't afford a snap to be high. You can't afford it to be low. Everybody figures, hey, the pressure's just on the kicker. Baloney. The center's got to get that ball back there, get it back in the perfect position, and then he's going to get the heck knocked out of him by all sorts of defensive linemen. There's Blair Bush, number 51.
Randy, that's what they pay you centers the big bucks for.
Well, if that was true, then a quarterback should throw a touchdown on every play because that's what they pay them for. I mean, heck, Blair Bush used to be 6'4" when he was a rookie. Now he's 6'1". He get hit in the head all those times, snapping field goals.
Well, let's see whether
Wayne doesn't want to look.
No, but he hoped that timeout just made all those guys thinking about all the bad things that could happen. No. Wide right. Zeros are up. We'll have overtime at County Stadium.
Well, Chris Jackie hit that ball good enough to make the 50 yards. He was just a little bit off, and much to Wayne Fonz's delight. Now watch, they don't get much of a rush. Jackie pops this one pretty good. It starts out on the right, but it never makes that kind of drawing motion back to the left. It never really had a chance. He left it out to the right the entire way. And here's a reaction for you. Watch this. Thank you.
That's a touchdown signal. Somebody's got to tell Wayne he's still got to play some overtime here. Well, that would have been a crushing blow to the Lions to have Jackie connect there, as the Lions, who had played turnover-free ball until that final drive, wound up coughing it up and could have cost themselves the game.
1 quarter if there's no score. Each team will have 2 timeouts. We will have a 2-minute warning if we go that far. Detroit, who's going to call a toss? Call it in the air, please. Heads is called. Heads it is. You receive. Which goal you defend? Turn around. Detroit will receive at 6.
Jimmy Williams made the call, and the Lions will receive. And we'll be back for overtime at County Stadium in a moment. Tim Ryan and Randy Cross, County Stadium overtime. Tied at 20. Barry Sanders awaiting the kickoff from Chris Jackie, who just missed from 50 yards. A chance to win it for Green Bay. Good kickoff. Near the end line. Sanders will not bring it out. Detroit will start from their 20-yard line. And the Lions 4-4-1 in overtime. Green Bay 5-6-4. Neither team has distinguished themselves in this category.
One thing to keep in mind is that the wind is in Detroit's face. If you were thinking your kicker and Eddie Murray was effective from about 50 yards out, you're going to have to move the ball at least 5 to 10 yards closer kicking into this kind of a wind.
Murray did kick a 46-yarder into the wind earlier in the 4th quarter. In fact, his miss was with the wind behind him. Sideliner, picked off, Green Bay ball. Mark Murphy.
Monster play here by Mark Murphy. A rookie mistake. Look at this. Peete is looking at his receiver the whole way. You can't do that with a veteran like Murphy. Murphy saw him staring at that wide receiver the whole time, and he dove in front of Walter Stanley and made the interception. Gigantic play by Mark Murphy.
So now the Green Bay Packers at the 26-yard line of Detroit. Now there's a huddle. Would replay be considering whether Murphy was inbounds? My guess is they are considering that. It was our view and that of the side judge that he was inbounds. George Sladkey, of course, it's an overtime.
By replay, the play stands, interception, first down.
And it stands.
Well, they got to look at it again. Why don't we? Wayne Fonts would like to have another look at it. And we'll see Rodney Peete does the same thing. Murphy's watching his eyes. Watch Walter Stanley. Throws it out here. Now, look. Murphy catches it. He got the first. He got the second. He got the third.
Yeah, he got about 4.
He got plenty.
Green Bay on first down. Lions trying to tackle the ball, but Fullwood holds on. Got maybe a yard at most. Second down. Now, we're in overtime, but we'll be going out to Denver for our doubleheader game, the Eagles and the Broncos. One of the featured games of the early season. Now, Chicago has defeated the Rams 20-10 to get back in the winning column. 56 points by the Bengals today. We look quickly at some other scores. From the 26-yard line. Second and virtually 10 yards to go for the Pats. Fullwood stacked up again. Got maybe 2 on that attempt. Spielman was there. And Jerry Ball, the nose man. Phoenix beat Dallas. And the Eagles have taken the early lead against Denver. Will be going to that game. And the Raiders up on top of Washington early.
We don't look for Green Bay to do anything terribly spectacular here. Majkowski will be running the ball. He'd run it back towards the middle of the field when they feel it's about time to go for this field goal, when they can work it down further.
Fullwood driven back after a gain of maybe 2.5 yards on the play. Jamison and Holmes. So now Chris Jackie will get another opportunity. The rookie from UTEP.
Well, Green Bay isn't even going to huddle. They just ran right out of the field. They're getting in field goal formation. They want to get this thing over with.
39-yard attempt by Jackie. Wind behind him. Timeout called by the Lions. Each team can take 2 timeouts in the overtime period. And again, Detroit just waiting for Jackie to have a little more time to consider. And it paid off the last time, at least to the extent that he missed from 50 yards. Whether he was bothered psychologically is hard to say, but he did miss.
You know, I've never really bought that idea. People say, call another timeout, let them think about it a little bit longer. You know, most kickers are a little bit flaky to start with. I don't think giving them an extra minute to sit there and worry about it's going to make any difference. As soon as they know they're in that pressure situation, they're already a Twitter.
Well, we do have to give credit to Blair Bush. Your guy did get the ball back well the first time, too. Let's see whether he's been bothered here by waiting during the timeout.
Maybe that's it. You're right. They're trying to affect the snap. I never thought of that.
Bracken will be the holder, and he is going to put it down just inside the 29-yard line. It's good. Chris Jackie, given a second chance, connects from 39, and the Green Bay Packers have evened their record at 4-4. The Lions fall to 1-7, but nonetheless, a solid effort by the Lions today, even in defeat, perhaps their best game of the season.
Well, this is the one that wins it for the Green Bay Packers here and brings that record back up to 500 as we see Brad and Lindy and Fonte and Jeff Query, 85, celebrating. Now, let's first of all, the snap, right on the money, fine snap, fine hold, no pressure from the Lions, and he drills this thing. There is no doubt. Right down the middle.
So Lindy and Fonte got to feel good about the way his team kept their composure throughout the game and won it at the end. And a disappointed Wayne Font suffering yet another defeat. And heading over to congratulate Lindy Infante. So the final score at Milwaukee's County Stadium, the Green Bay Packers 23, the Detroit Lions 20. For Randy Cross, Tim Ryan saying so long. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue.